Well, good evening and welcome to the Basket Hall in Krasnodar, Russia, where Lokomotiv Kuban play host to Darussafaka of Istanbul in Game 1 of the 7 days EuroCup Finals. 24 teams from across 11 different European countries started this competition back in October of 2017, and now there are just 2 left. Lokomotiv Kuban and Darussafaka will vie for the title in a 3-game series, spending the next week to see who will be crowned champion in the 16th edition of the modern EuroCup. You can see the players from both clubs making their way into the arena here as we get you inside the bowels of the stadium. And here, Coach Sasa Obradovic having a quick chat to his team, the home team, Lokomotiv Kuban Krasnodar. My name is Liam County, delighted to be with you tonight, and I'm joined in the commentary position by my colleague, Joe Arlauskas.
Liam, how you doing, man?
Good to have you aboard, and I know you and I are both so excited about this final as we were talking before the game.
Man, you know, there's nothing better than when a competition comes to the end and the 2 best teams actually make it to the final. A lot of players, a lot of people will act as if they want to see an upset along the way, but this is what it's all about. Number 1 versus number 2. You can't beat this in a 3-game series.
And here the coach of that number 2 team, Coach David Blatt, arrives earlier tonight with Darussafaka. We're going to try to have a listen to any comments he has in the changing room beforehand. You see the players here just getting ready for tip-off, and here's Coach Blatt.
We got to do the same things and be the same team that we've been from day one. We started off by saying, and we continue to say, commit to excellence. Every time you step out on the floor, we don't expect perfect performance. We don't expect perfect performance. We expect and we want perfect effort from you. Okay? Play hard, play together, play to win, have fun. Let's go to work.
Well, Joe, we were talking before the game about the role that both coaches will play. Coach Blatt, 2014 EuroLeague Coach of the Year, and of course, Coach Sasha Obradovic, as you see tonight, Finals Game 1, Lokomotiv Kuban playing host to Darussafaka, and Coach Obradovic, the EuroCup Coach of the Year this year. How important are the coaches going to be in this tie tonight, Joe?
They're so important in a game like this because both teams are really focused on defense. Lokomotiv being the best defensive team in the league, Darussafaka being right around the second, almost the second best team in the league defensively. So strategy is important. We talked about earlier, we'll talk about this as the game goes on. Certain players and certain plays that each coach wants to get at. Maybe take him out of the game. Wilbekin is obviously one person that Coach Obradovic is going to want to take out of his game. And Kuligan, the way he's been playing, David Blatt's going to try to take him out of his.
Well, you can see the atmosphere here in the arena, all part of the pageantry of EuroCup. Great to see the home side making an occasion of it. Krasnodar Basket Hall seats 7,500, and they'll all be on their edge of the seat soon as it's eager anticipation before tonight's tip-off. Joe, you mentioned Scottie Wilbekin as a player to keep an eye out for, and you mentioned, of course, you know, he's top scorer in the league this year, but both of these teams are very good defensively. You know, do you see a wide-open game tonight, or do you see it going to be a struggle and a gritty affair between the 2 teams who are both good on the defensive end of the floor?
And I think, especially with the game taking place here in Russia, it's going to be more of a gritty type game because Lokomotiv is going to try to do everything they can to control the rhythm. But the interesting thing is when you look at the defensive part, we all talk about Lokomotiv's defense throughout the season, that they've only allowed 68.7 points per opposing teams. But Darussafaka is not far behind. In the top 16, they've only allowed 68.7, and more importantly, only 27.9% from outside the 3-point line. So they extend their defense out, and they really get in the face of the shooters.
Well, Lokomotiv Kuban have had a marvelous season. They're looking to set a new record potentially tonight. They've won all 20 games, and should they win tonight, the 21st win will set a new record for consecutive wins in this competition. Joe, how much pressure does that put on Lokomotiv Kuban? They've never lost. Here they are in the finals, and they haven't lost a regular season game. Does that add a new dimension of pressure to them?
Well, I think it does. It makes Darussafaka feel as though they have nothing to lose. So they go into this game with a little bit of a different attitude. Lokomotiv is also breaking their own record. They own that record right now, so it's not like they're breaking anybody else's record. So they can sit back and say, hey, listen, if we don't break this record tonight, no big deal. If we don't break it during this final, the most important is that we win 2 games. It doesn't matter how we do it.
Well, you saw there the EuroCup, the trophy that both teams are playing for. In fact, Lokomotiv Kuban have won this competition before. Back in 2013, they were EuroCup champions. They beat Bilbao Basket. Richard Hendricks was the Final Four MVP, and Nick Kalaitis the regular season MVP. And here now are the visitors. Darussafaka make their way onto the floor. It's their third opportunity to play in the EuroCup. And Joe, the last couple of seasons, they've been playing in the EuroLeague.
Yeah, and they played well in the EuroLeague. They made it to the playoffs last year, lost to Madrid, although they put a scare into Madrid by winning a game in Turkey. So this team is experienced. They have, even though they're a young team, they're experienced. We'll talk about the ages a little bit later. Only 25.1 years, the medium age in this Darussafaka team, but they know what they're doing. They know what they need. And what they have on the bench, they have a leader. They have David Blatt, who knows exactly what it takes to win these games. And what he said in the locker room was most important. All I want is effort. I don't want perfection. I just want effort, because with effort comes perfection.
I love his comment too, his last comment, which was to go out and have fun.
Yeah.
You know, this is a final. Do players feel that pinch? Do they feel the pressure? Or obviously, being a former player yourself, Joe, do you want to go out and be loose and not necessarily play the occasion, just play the game and the opponent?
Well, you look at it two different ways from both benches, because Lokomotiv has the pressure now, not because of the 20-0 record. They have the pressure because they don't want to go to Darussafaka down 0-1. There's no way they want to do that. So Darussafaka comes in this game saying, hey, listen, we have to give it our all tonight. We have to try to take this game, because what we don't want to do is we don't want to come back here. Apart from it's a long trip, it is a tough place to play, we just don't want to come back here. We'd rather shut this thing out in two.
Well, we are in the Black Sea Basin in southern Russia. There's Mitru Kulagin, who had you can see him in the shadows. There he is, the light upon him.
I love the hair.
Yeah, listen, he can really shoot it too. Never mind about the hair. But in the quarterfinals, game 2 against Gran Canaria, he had 32 points. And Joe, in the absence of Ryan Brokoff, who's an all EuroCup selection this year, how important is Kulagin's presence going to be on the floor for Kuban?
Well, I think it's important because he does shoot the 3, but he also gets to the basket also. A lot of those 32 points were getting the basket, drawing fouls, and doing things that got other people involved in the game. Now, be careful. He is prone to turnovers. He averages 3.8 turnovers a game.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Here's the Darussafaka, the visiting lineup. Paced and scoring by Scottie Wilbekin, who's having a marvelous season so far.
Absolutely amazing. Right down to that 41-point effort in the last game, which is, he's just had an amazing season. They're 15-1 with him on the floor, and the one game they lost was the last game of the top 16 that didn't mean much.
Now, Joe, here's the Kuban roster. Of course, Brokoff is absent, and who do you see who jumps out of the lineup here for Kuban tonight?
Well, I actually think that they're going to have to look inside. Frank Ellegar is going to be huge for them inside, not only on the defensive, not only on the rebound, but he loves to get those easy points around the basket, and he's so active offensively and defensively that he can cause havoc inside for Darussafaka.
Yeah, and you mentioned this, you and I talked off air about how important teams will get out and guard the perimeter. So now all of a sudden the players inside the paint will take on a more prominent role.
Yeah, you have two teams that have held opposing teams to under 30% from the three-point line throughout the season. That means that they really focus on extending the defense. This game has become a perimeter game. Basketball is not what it used to be where you played inside. So now these teams have to look and say, how do we get the ball inside and how do we get the ball to our big men?
Well, let's just talk how the teams got here. Regular season, Lokomotiv Kuban came through Group C 10-0. You see Scottie Wilbekin, look at his numbers. They came through Group G and then swept Gran Canaria in the quarterfinals and swept Reggio Emilia in the semifinals. As for Darussafaka, led by Scottie Wilbekin here, the leading scorer on the season with 18.9 points per game. They came through the competition, Group A first, 8-2. There's Coach Blatt at the helm of the team. Group E first, 5-0. They swept Podgorica in the quarterfinals. But, you know, Joe, this Darussafaka team had to go out and beat Bayern Munich in a really tough semifinals. How battle-hardened will that make them for the finals tonight?
I think it's important that the way you get to the finals is difficult. I think Lokomotiv has had a little bit of an easier path, so to speak, only because of the fact, yes, they lost Brokoff, there's no doubt about it, but the two teams that they played to get to the final also lost their best scorers. Della Valle was out also for Emilio, so that makes it more difficult for them.
Well, Marty Collins will be the veteran. He's a two-time All-EuroCup first-team selection with Lokomotiv Kuban, and at age 33 years of age, a veteran, he'll provide some leadership for this Kuban club. As you see, the combined officiating crew from Slovenia, Spain, and Estonia, respectively.
Yeah, you talk about Collins, Liam, and this guy scored 8.7 points a game in the regular season. went up to 8.8. Then he went to 13 in the quarterfinals and 16 he averaged in the semifinals. So at 33 years old, he's getting better as the year goes on.
And maybe he's a little bit wiser, too. He knows when to turn
go.
it on and off. And here's the starting five for the visitors. We've been talking about Wilbekin, of course, but who else do you see as playing a vital role here, Joe, for the visitors tonight?
I honestly think that Howard Sant-Roos is a player that is important for them because he does so many other things other than just score. He plays defense. He gets to the rebound also as if from the guard position, he can rebound. So he's going to be important for them throughout the evening.
The Cuban international, Sant-Roos. And here is the EuroCup Coach of the Year, Sasha Obradovic. Sees his players come out onto the floor. Two players chasing personal milestones. Dmitry Hovstov needs 6 assists to get into the top 5 all time in the EuroCup, so we'll try to keep you appraised of his performance. And Wilbekin needs just 12 more three-pointers to set a single season three-point record.
He might make that tonight.
Yeah, very well could, because he sunk 10 in the game before, hasn't he? So 2 more. He's not far away from it. Well, fans, remember, you can follow and track all of the live in-game statistics tonight on the EuroCup website. It's allthews.eurocupbasketball.com. Just click on the link to tonight's game, and you can track all of the stats as you watch the images and listen to the sounds of the 7 days EuroCup final. It'll be Lokomotiv Kuban in the red uniforms, and the visitors from Darussafaka in the white. Just moments away from tipping it off. The third occasion on which these two teams have met. They've met twice before in the EuroLeague, but this one is for all the marbles. The first time these two teams have ever met in this competition. The referee will step into the center circle. We're underway, game 1 in the EuroCup Finals playoff series to culminate and finish this competition. First possession to the visitors as Loco Kuban settle into some man-to-man defense.
What a great play right off the bat. Set up definitely from the locker room. Wilbekin setting that little pick up top. Beautifully done.
So the visitors draw first blood. Kuban come back with their first possession. Darussafaka also showing man-to-man defense as Collins spots up. His first shot hits the rim. So it's Hovstov who gets the unenviable task of trying to guard Wilbekin tonight. Both teams in their half-court sets. And Hovstov with the first foul. Trying to stay close, Joe, as close as he can to Wilbekin.
Yeah, you have to, but the great thing about Scottie Wilbekin is the fact that he has such a great ability to get to the basket also. So that makes it that much more difficult to be able to defend a guy that can shoot from the distance that he can shoot from.
So first personal foul on Hovstov and the first team foul against Kuban. Sideline ball here, and Hovstov's trying to bottle up Wilbekin in the corner. First turnover for Darussafaka. Scottie Wilbekin, who will have the ball in his hands a lot, responsible for that first giveaway.
Yeah, and you have to look at Lokomotiv is going to look to double team him, especially when he gets in the corners, gets in the baseline. So how to double team him up at the top of the key in the center.
There's Collins having a look inside. Static by both teams. There's the high ball screen. Hovstov keeps his dribble alive. Collins comes to get it with the shot clock, less than 10. Collins, little baby jump shot in the lane. That finds nothing but air. And Eric with the rebound for Darussafaka.
Interesting, the first 2 plays of the game, a little bit more ball movement in that last play, but Collins takes it one-on-one again from the top of the key.
Still early days, but right now the tempo very slow and befitting two teams who are very good defensively. Sant-Roos trying to find some space. Good defense by Kuban to force the wild shot. Little drag screen here at the top of the key. Lacey moves it on to Collins. Collins really having a look inside, can't find his target. Lacey spots up for the 3, that's on the way, and that's off the mark.
This is what we saw in the first game of the semifinal. They just couldn't get a rhythm early on. They got it in the second half, but they did it through defense and getting out on fast breaks, something they might need to do now tonight.
Yeah, neither team can really get out in transition just yet. Both teams playing good transition defense. Here's the pass into the low post.
You see the idea of trying to trap on the baseline.
Now the ball movement. Again, another hard shot, and Hovstov with his second foul, Joe, and he breaks the cardinal rule, never foul jump shooters.
Yeah, you don't, especially outside that three-point line. He had a good defensive position on him. He's got into him a little bit. And, you know, the other thing you don't want to do is you don't want to commit that foul with less than 5 seconds on the shot clock like they did in that position. They've taken him down on the shot clock three of the last 4 possessions, other than that first possession. And there you don't want to give up that foul, especially shoot 3, I believe.
Yeah, Huffstoff goes off with his second foul. Kulagin will step in. I think Kulagin's wondering what he's going to do to get a starting role. He's dropped 32 in the game. He says, Coach, how come I'm starting on the bench tonight?
You know, once you start coming off of that bench and playing the way he's playing, a coach sees that and says, you know what? You just keep coming off the bench. I'll get you in. Don't worry.
As the saying goes, you'd rather be a finisher than a starter. You want to be in the game at the end.
Exactly. So many kids are like, hey, Coach, can I start? I'm like, no, I want to finish.
Wilbekin makes the first free throw. And the second, so that answers your question, Joe. To make matters worse for Huffstoff, he does foul Wilbekin in the act of shooting a 3.
Yeah, that's not a smart foul. And on top of it being his second foul, those stuff's important for this team. He needs to be on the floor, and he's going to be out probably until maybe a couple minutes left in the first half, or until the second half.
Well, you and I are both of the age. Remember the old pine benches? He's getting some pine time right now. Is Huffstoff.
They're a little bit more cushiony now.
So some pressure up the floor here from Darussafaka. Just trying to change the complexion of the game slightly. And it's been very deliberate, Joe. Neither team can get anything going in transition. We played close to 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's what they want to do. They want to stop transition. There's Cooling and get to the basket, though.
Logging on the perimeter. Shot clock now under 5. Collins with a bomb. It's on the way. And that's nothing but net.
And that was a shot that he took within rhythm. He wasn't a one-on-one shot where he had to fade away or nothing. Cooligan made a nice little drive to the basket, kicked it out to him, and he caught it with him perfect rhythm.
Collins facing the basket, knocks down the 3, and opens the scoring here for Kuban. The nerves might settle ever so slightly as they try and dig in and defend. Oh, great backdoor cut, great pass, and the assist from Wilbekin, the leading scorer in the EuroCup this year, shows he can give it as well.
This is typical David Blatt offensive plays. He loves to set off screens and diagonal cuts.
And the ball screens, a couple of handoffs here for Kuban, but it's very static, Joe, and it's unbalanced right now. Ragland finds Lace, shimmies along the baseline, little shovel pass inside. That's off the mark. Kuban lucky to get this one back.
Nice play right there by Michael Eric to clear that off the rim. He got up there, stopped the penetration, was still be able to get up and make the defensive play up at the rim.
It's Brian Quali with the miss. Baseline ball here now for Kuban. They trail by 4. There's Kulagin now down on the baseline. Good defense. Inside, Kulagin wants another touch, and the double team comes. Collins from the same spot as the last one. That hits the heel of the rim. And Lacey couldn't keep it alive for Kuban.
Our boy Marty Collins tried to be a leader tonight. He's not shy at all. Already got 4 shots up.
2 deep threes as well.
Yeah. But I love what they do with Cooligan, especially down on the low post. He almost works as a point guard down there. He distributes the ball so well with his back to the basket, finds the open shot. He's a distributor, but we'll talk about the turnovers a little bit more as the game goes on.
Got decent size for a shooting guard at 196. Now he has to come in and apply a double screen, a double pick, I beg your pardon, to double team himself, and he draws the foul.
What physicality, though, by Lokomotiv is, and they're just going after everything. See Kuban right there, just bodying up every time on the baseline, and if his man doesn't have the ball, he's coming out on the baseline to help, almost faking the double team. Not sure if no one knows yet if he's going to go double team or not yet, because they haven't made that penetration.
Second turnover against Darussafaka. That won't like that. Ragland, that's pure. The second 3 of the night for Kuban.
You got to step out if you're the big man right there. Michael Eric has to step out on that to at least get a hand in Ragland's face.
Well, I love this from Wilbekin. He knows his team needs a little spark. As you were talking about, Joe, just not a three-point shooter, can put it on the deck, and he attacks the rim here and draws the foul.
Yeah, Wilbekin wants to get into the game. Good scorers have different ways to get in the game. One is they want to let the game come to them a little bit. They don't want to go out and get it too quickly. He's done a good job of getting other people involved through picking and through passing the ball also. This time he says, okay, now it's my turn to take this ball to basket. Let me get fouled. And there's nothing better than getting to the foul line and seeing that ball drop through the line the first 2 times when you shoot.
Yeah, shooters talk about that all the time. They just love that confidence, even from a free throw line, just seeing the ball go through the hoop for the first time in a game.
Yeah, the worst thing you can see sometimes, though, the shooter gets stuck maybe in the first couple possessions of a game with only like 3-4 seconds on the shot clock, and you take that bad 3. It starts to seep into your head a little bit that you're 0 for 2 from the 3-point line. A good shooter says, well, don't worry, if I'm 0 for 2, 0 for 3, that means I'm going to make them later on.
Shoot to get hot and shoot to stay hot. Wilbekin makes both free throws and opens his scoring account. Darussafaka stay in front.
And you know, when you have a guy like Wilbekin, what you want to do, there's two things that you want to do to that type of player. As he goes to the bench right now to take a rest, you want to make him defend, number one. Make him work on the defensive end, and then every point that he scores is a difficult one.
Obviously making him defend sort of wears him down a little bit, tires, put some minutes in the legs. Dragon uses that high ball screen. Spots up in the corner, going to try his hand at the three, and that's in and out. Right spot at the right time. Nice pass inside. The ball can't score it. Kuban retained possession.
Nice defense there by Michael Eric, holding his ground. He knew that he was out of position. We're going to see right here, he's out of position right there and just holds his ground. He's inside that semicircle. Can't make any contact with him there.
Stays straight up in the air. Avoids the foul. Coaches now go into the rotation. We're hitting the midway mark of the opening stanza. Both coaches now turn to the benches. Oh, easy basket inside. The first dunk of the night, right from the out-of-bounds play. And welcome to the game, Frank Ellegaard.
Michael Eric might have made a nice play a little bit about 2 seconds ago, but I don't think Coach Blat's going to like that one.
A little bit of Matador D. You spend some time in Spain these days. A little bit of Matador D there.
Don't talk about my defense.
Darussafaka in their half-court set now. Here's Will Cummings in the game for the first time. Slashes to the basket, and that one sent back with interest. Ellegaard scores on one end, and the swat on the other.
Already becoming a factor with his intensity.
Ragland's shot won't fall. Sant-Roos fans out in transition. Good transition by Kuban, and just an unfortunate foul here, Joe, for Kulagin.
Yeah, he got stuck up on the sideline over there as Sant-Roos pulls up. He saw Sant-Roos dribbling with that offhand, saw him dribbling with the right hand, wanted to go in and make that steal, and couldn't get there in time.
Sant-Roos didn't want it either. I mean, he wasn't attacking the basket like a guard. He's fanning out to the wing saying, where's the guard? And then Kulagin commits the foul. A quick break for Wilbekin. He's back in the game. Joe, you think Coach Blatt just wanted a quick word with him?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm assuming he just brought him over to the bench real quick to get in his head a little bit. Maybe tell him to be a little bit more aggressive. Sometimes your star player wants to get other people involved. Listen, they're here because of him. Like I said earlier, they're 15-1 with him on the court. And he's got to play.
Yeah, you know, just to throw out some more stats you were saying, of course, we know the biggest stat, Loco Kuban 20-0, but this is a Darussafaka team, Joe, who are 8-2 on the road. Right. You know, they're strong on the road.
And the only games they lost have been games that weren't even important to play. I shouldn't say that. They've lost one game where they were up by 20 to Cervezda, I think, but the other two games was at the end of the top 16 when they were already qualified.
They qualified for the next round. They lose a couple of games.
Yeah, and Wilbekin was out with a couple small injuries, but just enough to rest him, where he only played in 16 games this year. But like we said, they're 15-1 with him in the lineup. 20-0, 15-1. I'm taking either one of them. Yeah. you know, especially if I'm their coach.
Technical issue here as the officials go over to the scorers table to try and sort things out. Darussafaka bring a 17-3 record in tonight's game. Again, this is the third occasion these two teams have met, but it's the first time they have ever met in the EuroCup. Coach Obradovic, the Coach of the Year this year. He's done a marvelous job with his team. Joe, we mentioned that Ryan Broekhoff is out with injury for Kuban, and Darussafaka without the services of James Bell as well. So both teams not quite at full strength.
Yeah, I think Darussafaka will take that.
Yeah.
That works out maybe to their favor. They don't want to lose any players, but if you're going to lose, if you're going to pick one for each team, you'd rather go with Broekhoff on the other one.
Well, again, this is only the second time, Joe, that this final will be decided across 3 games. So historically, it was over 2 legs. And as a player, do you prefer the 2-leg format, or do you like the best-of-3 series?
No, you have to go with the best-of-3, I think, just to make it fair. These two teams have fought all year long. To come into one game and have a bad game and maybe lose by 15 could really mess you up for the next game. So I think the 3-game series is the best, but it's a lot of pressure on that home court advantage because of this first game.
First game, a big one. Wilbekin closed out quickly, and you can see the attention he's drawn right now. He's got 3 red shirts around him. Somebody's got to be open. It's Aldemir who lays it up and in.
Yeah, Aldemir, nice play getting his hands on that one, but Wilbekin is going to have to be wise to that, having 3 players on him. Going to have to find him. If he punishes the defense with a couple easy baskets like that, they're not going to be double teaming him.
Antipov in the game for the first time for Kuban. Kulagin wants the ball screen. Has to kick it out and get it back. Yeah, it's a tough matchup now for Aldemir on the perimeter, and Kulagin does the right thing, attack him on the dribble, can't score. Here's Wilbekin in transition. And again, good transition defense by Kuban as Raglan gets back and stops the dribble. The bigs are really helping out, trying to remove any penetration from Wilbekin. And that two off the mark.
There are no
offensive rebound for Darussafaka.
No easy looks at all in the lane, Liam. the big men are rotating quickly and getting their bodies in front of them.
Wilbekin spots up. That's a forced three. And Raglan, the smallest man on the floor, comes up with the rebound. Well, Wilbekin maybe pressing a little bit there, Joe. Again, it's easy from the commentary position, but Eldamir had Joe Raglan on his back. There was a mismatch in the low post, and Wilbekin decided to spot up and shoot the three instead.
Yeah, he's looking to get his shot now. You saw after that little break that he took, he's looking to get his. He was even more aggressive on that play before where he made the pass. He wanted to get to the basket, found three guys on him, was forced to make that pass. This time, he looks like he's at that moment right now where he has to try to take the game over himself.
Both teams have been running their half-court sets. Elegar comes and sets that high ball screen for Raglan. Shot might have been partially deflected, and Elegar with the offensive rebound for Kuban. Can't find a teammate.
Yeah, they have to keep Elegar off the boards. He's somebody that can be very dangerous to Darussafaka. One of the two most important things that you do when you play on the road, when you think about, is ball possession. You don't want to turn the ball very often, and of course you want to make sure you're on the defensive boards at all times.
It's the second offensive rebound for Kuban. We'll keep you apprised of those stats. Just the first turnover for Kuban. Here's Wilbekin across the midcourt stripe. And it's Lacey's turn to guard him now. He's being guarded by committee. Any red jersey will do. Elegar steps to the ball. And good spacing by Darussafaka. Sant-Roos, his shot hits the heel of the rim, and Kuban come back the other way. Lacey rides a little drag screen here from Elegar. A little bounce pass. Elegar attacks the basket. That won't fall. Sant-Roos with the rebound for Darussafaka. As soon as Wilbekin catches it, Joe, he sees a red jersey right away.
Or two.
Now he's in space. Deep three. And that finds the bottom of the net.
And you know, that was Sant-Roos. He, as a teammate, finally saw a little bit of space for his player. Knows that he's got to get him into the game. And we're going to see, well, not on this player right here. Yeah, you see it right there. He sees the rotation, and he sees the slow rotation by Cooligan. Gets in the ball just quick enough to get him that first good shot that he's seen so far in this game.
Yeah, the extra pass from Sant-Roos opens up the scoring opportunity for Wilbekin. And you can see Darussafaka up early, 14-8 here on the road as we have our break. Try to get inside the timeout as much as we can, as Obradovic really remonstrating with his team early, and he's not going to be happy that Scottie Wilbekin gets any open looks, and certainly be disappointed in how slow his team rotates to close him out.
Yeah, you have to be happy that at this point in the game it was only his first three-pointer, but you have to be concerned that he's capable of rolling off 3 or 4 more in a row before the end of this half.
Well, Wilbekin with 5 points right now for Darussafaka. He's joint top with Ulabai, who also has 5. It's Kuban who took the timeout. And across the half court, Marty Collins with 3, Joe Raglan with 3, and Frank Elegar with a basket to make their 8.
I've been surprised about that Lokomotiv has gone to the 3 so often here early in this game. I thought that they would really look to pound the ball inside a little bit more to Elegar, to their bigs, to see if they could put some damage on Darussafaka from the inside, and maybe work the game inside out instead of from outside in.
Yeah, the 2 for 6 are Kuban from behind the rainbow, just 33%. A little man pressure up the floor as Marty Collins gets it across the midcourt stripe for Kuban. Joe, the measure of a good timeout, always can you come out and execute a good offensive set, get a good look.
It looks like Darussafaka's already taken them out of their set.
Kulak gets swallowed up by white jerseys, has to kick it out, shot clock running down. Lacey pulls the trigger on a 3 and knocks it down.
You know, maybe it's just the fact that they can't get anything in the paint right now because Darussafaka is really guarding the interior very well. Those are the shots that they're getting outside.
You can see what Blatt thought of that. Disappointed his team didn't close out, but they're really making every possession difficult, as are both teams. We expected this, the 2 best defensive teams in the EuroCup this year. Sant-Roos, little bounce pass to Eldamir. He draws the foul. He'll go to the charity stripe and throw it twice.
Like Coach Obradovic has his team really focused on one thing, on Wilbekin, because you can see here, well, you're not going to see it here on the left, is Hooligan never left Wilbekin side on that penetration, where when he's off the ball as he is, his defensive position is more with 1 foot in the lane waiting for that penetration. He wasn't but a half a step away from Wilbekin.
Yeah, no help responsibility for Kulag, and he has got one mission, as you say, and that's to be eyeball to eyeball with Scottie Wilbekin. Furkan Aldemir, there's an interview from Aldemir, the Turkish international, on the EuroCup website. It's a great source of pregame stuff for this final. Aldemir interviewed Marty Collins, interviewed by all means. Check those out on the website as Aldemir converts the first free throw.
He's a beast on the offensive boards underneath the paint. He's averaging over 2 offensive rebounds a game in a limited time, limited action, only 14 minutes. So you have to be careful of him when he's out there, because he will get the offensive rebound, and he's great at putting the ball out quickly after he gets it.
Second EuroCup season, makes 1 of 2. Back comes Kulagin. 4 points the difference. And a little runner inside, that's off the mark. Aldemir with the defensive rebound this time. Finds an outlet pass.
But Lokomotiv is so good at getting back quickly on defense and getting to the paint so nothing gets it on the floor.
Wilbekin has to come all the way between the circles to get a touch on the basketball. Keeps his dribble alive. The little floater in the lane, that's no good. Every shot contested for Wilbekin.
And he's working for every point. He's got 5 points so far, and he's had to work for all of them.
Both teams grinding it out here. Less than a minute to play in the opening stanza. Collins. Try and break down his defender. Gets to the halo. Good move by Collins. Offensive rebound here by Lacey. Good hustle play by Lacey. He'll kick to Collins. Shimmies along the baseline. Lacey is fouled. Sorry, Joe, I beg your pardon. Go ahead.
Sorry, Liam. I was wondering about the shot clock right there, because on a block shot, the ball never hit the rim.
Yeah.
I think they reset the clock, if I'm not mistaken.
You're right. They did reset it, and there certainly was a block shot. I don't think it struck the rim.
Yeah. I was wondering what the possession was going on and on. I'm looking over at David Blatt to see why he's not up and down screaming.
Well, good foul discipline from Darussafaka. They're not yet in the penalty, so it's an end-line ball. Lokomotiv Kuban with a fresh shot clock, 14 seconds.
And we didn't even talk about the block by Juwan Johnson there. It was a great block on the defensive play. They're playing such great defense inside that red paint that Lokomotiv is just not getting anything in the lane.
Bushmir steps in for Darussafaka. Bab comes off a triple screen. And Lacey wants to back it out. You can see how everything contested inside. Kulagin gets Sant-Roos off his feet. Shot off the mark. Another offensive rebound, the 4th offensive rebound for Kuban, and they'll get a chance to close out the quarter. And again, we talk about this good foul discipline, Joe. You know, Darussafaka with 3 seconds left still aren't in the penalty yet.
Yeah, and Coach Blatt just asked, he just asked him why'd he foul him, but I think he made a good play right there. It's 3.8 seconds. He may have been able to wait another second or two, but right now you just have to play defense.
So Kuban will get the last possession. Bab lets fly, and he knocks down a 3 right in the death of the first quarter. Lokomotiv Kuban fans finally get something to get off their feet about. And at the end of the first quarter, Darussafaka, the visitors, up a penny here in Kuban. Well, Joe, the hosts down a point here against Darussafaka, and it's certainly been a gritty affair as we anticipated early on. We'll see the first quarter highlights in the first game of this final series. Marty Collins made a couple of jump shots to keep the scoreboard ticking over for his team. Great pass there by Scottie Wilbekin. Raglan also making a couple of jump shots outside for Kuban. It's been a tough night for Scottie Wilbekin, who's drawn lots of attention defensively. And both coaches, I think, will be pleased with how well their teams have played on the defensive end of the floor. Wilbekin with his 1-3 there. Both coaches getting as many players involved as possible. It's just 1 point in it here at the end of the first 10 minutes of play. Joe, how do you see things so far?
I'm wondering if Wilbekin got a little earful when he went back to the bench and committed that foul. I actually thought, as an ex-player, I thought it was a pretty good foul. Because a lot of times teams score, especially off an offensive rebound. Talk about offensive rebounds, 6 offensive rebounds in the first quarter alone. That's something that Coach Blatt definitely has to be concerned about. But Wilbekin, I thought, made a nice play. The only thing they didn't defend the out-of-bounds play with 3.8 seconds left, and that's where they gave up that 3. Otherwise, they go into this first quarter the 4-point lead.
Not only the 6 offensive rebounds for Lokomotiv Kuban, but they're also winning the battle of the boards. They're +4 at the moment with 12-8. And, you know, coaches always talk about that, Joe, the kind of battle of the boards as a game inside the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that you want to win. Sometimes the rebounds that you do come down with, the importance of every rebound is different. When you get that long rebound that could get you out on a fast break a little bit quicker, maybe you develop into easier baskets, they're different rebounds. Sometimes you can lose the rebound advantage, but still win the game.
First possession here to the hosts. Collins all by himself in the corner. And finally the pass inside. Draws a foul as Heligar had a mismatch in the low post.
Darussafaka comes out in a little 2-3 matchup zone here to start the second quarter. Looks like maybe they're getting tired because as you've seen over as the course of the season has gone, Coach Blatt has cut his rotations. He's really only playing with 8 players that are playing quality time. Everybody else is getting 3-4 minutes here and there. But he's only got 8 to 10 players coming in a game, so.
And certainly in the finals, that's when the bench gets even shorter, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Now back to man again.
Lacey trying to find space on the high ball screen from Alligator. Might have got away with the travel, but good block here again by Johnson. And Alligator arms that one, left it short.
The defense is impressive by Darussafaka. Any type of penetration is contested.
Step back shot, in and out. No love from the rim for Johnson. Each team with a possession, neither team with a score to open the second quarter. Collins spots up at the elbow. Strikes the heel of the rim and kept alive by Eligar. Another offensive rebound here for Kuban. Raglan gonna go and try and break down Sant-Roos. The teardrop shot up and good. Raglan takes it to the rim.
Well, a pretty little crossover there by Joe Raglan that time. He got to the basket quick, and even then, with the nice move that he made, was still heavily contested at the rim. I think somebody got a piece of that, but it still went off the backboard and dropped.
Raglan just 1.81 m, the smallest player on the floor. Went in amongst the trees and converted. Now he's going to defend in the low post. And you can see as soon as Wilbekin catches it, draws the attention of a red jersey. Great defense here by Kuban. They force a shot from the corner. Sant-Roos' shot is no good, and Collins rises for the rebound.
You see part of the game plan also is give that shot up to Sant-Roos, and that's twice he's had it in the corner by himself.
Collins, the veteran, so patient, shares the basketball. It's static here, Joe. 4 out, 1 in as they try to isolate Eligar in a low post, and it pays dividends for Kuban.
He's so aggressive down low offensively. He gets to the basket so quick, and them long arms, you said it before. Nice little reverse with the left hand for the big man.
Yeah, here's the feed. The touch pass into the low post. And he just finds a bit of space, uses the rim to good effect to ward off any help side coming and protect the basketball for the score.
Yeah, and the key to that play is a lot of young guys that like to watch this game and watch this and try to learn off the TV, is he made the move before he actually received the ball. If we get it, I don't know if we can go back and see it, if we're going to get a chance to see it again in the replays later. As the ball's coming in there, his footwork is already going to the basket, so he's already turning his body to get there. He doesn't have that typical big man move where he gets the ball, wait 1 second, and let the defender get ready. No, as soon as he caught that ball, he was gone.
Great expression from a legendary coach in the U.S., John Wooden, who used to say, be quick, but don't rush.
Don't rush, exactly.
And Eligar with some quick feet there. Good timeout here from Coach Darussafaka. Coach Blatt, he saw his team concede 4 points and wants to bring things in to make sure the momentum doesn't swing too much over to Kuban.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. This game is all about strategy. You cannot give up 6, 8, 10 points in a row. Those kind of runs in this type of game, especially with the type of defense that both teams are playing right now, you can't expect to score 6, 8, 10 points in a row.
Well, we saw there Dmitry Hushtov, who's got his shooting shirt on. He's got those 2 fouls, went straight to the bench, put his shooting shirt on. Yeah. He knows he's not going to see court time again for a little while here in the first half.
Yeah, he might want to go back, take another shower, and warm up again for the second half. Start all over again.
Well, some pressure up the floor here from Kuban. He'll stay in that man-to-man defense. And Wilbekin now starts the offense for Darussafaka. Into the low post. Collins has to dig in and defend in a low post. Does a good job of it. And now Sant-Roos. Scoop and score. Good drive by the Cuban.
And he's the man that's going to have to do that. He's going to have to get to the basket because they are not giving anything to Scottie Wilbekin right now. There's no help defense at all. He has to take advantage of that. Go Scottie Wilbekin's way to get to the basket.
Little pass inside here to the low post. And Elegar using the dribble, gets some space, draws the foul, and earns himself a trip to the charity stripe.
Look at the big boys just going at it down low. You see these guys go. Watch the body contact. 1, 2, 3, an elbow, a block. Oh, I love it.
I'm not entirely sure who the foul was on. It could have been on a couple of guys, but Elegar won't matter. He'll step to the line and he'll throw it twice.
He's, you know, what? I'm 52 now, Liam. When I see guys like this, I'm so glad that I'm retired and don't play this game anymore because that's the kind of guy I can remember watching videos and say, how am I going to play against this guy for 40 minutes?
You're giving away personal information here. You don't look 52.
Well, that's more important.
I'm sure you feel it, though.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure your knees probably feel like they're about 60.
Now, my knees are not bad. It's the back and the neck that's a little rough, but the knees held up. Elegar drops 1 of 2 there, 71% free throw shooter, and he's got to be a pretty decent free throw shooter as much as he wants to get to the line.
Again, just some token pressure up the floor here, some man pressure. And you can see how Kuban now completely denying the ball to Wilbekin. And so Sant-Roos has to come out and get it. Here's that penetration you're talking about. Shot wouldn't drop, but again, he'll go to the free throw line again for 2 more shots.
And you know, if you're Scottie Wilbekin, you're walking up to Sant-Roos going, keep going, because it'll come to me. It'll come to me. I need you to keep going to the basket and getting open and getting these shots and getting fouled.
Yeah, another great expression, a little coach speak here for you, Joe. You talk about for shooters how they want to hunt their shot, right? Find space. Don't hunt the basketball necessarily, but find that space, and all of a sudden, as you say, maybe the game comes to you.
Yeah, a lot of that has to do with movement without the ball. So many people, especially nowadays, you see so many pick and rolls, high screens, low screens, the ball in the guard's hand so long. It's the movement without the ball. You see a guy like in the EuroLeague like J.C. Carroll who knows how to move without the ball so well and get himself open and use picks. And that's what Scottie Wilbekin's going to have to do a little bit. But he's a guy that is used to having the ball in his hand more than he is to move within movement.
Sant-Roos makes 1 of 2. Trapping defense from Darussafaka as they try to change the complexion of the game. Switching on handoffs on the perimeter. Here's Kuban. And you can see everyone switching, Joe. No easy penetration for Darussafaka. Great defense, and it leads to a turnover.
What defense right there.
Sant-Roos in some fast break opportunity, kicks it out to Wilbekin, thought about it, and Chris Babb closed him out quickly.
Great decision by Wilbekin not to shoot that one.
Now he'll get in the lane, move it on, 1 pass, and a dunk inside. Wilbekin with his 2nd assist.
You know, there's nothing statistical about that, but Wilbekin not shooting that shot and creating the play that he made changes the complexion of this game already.
Stanton Kidd with his first basket with the Thunder dunk. And look at how the white jerseys collapse along the basketball, but still, Elegar puts the power and power forward and lays it up and in.
Elegar says, I don't care. Keep coming at me. I'm going up over the top of you. Right hand, left hand. I love this kid.
Elegar, 7 points so far. Wilbekin trying to find a crease, trying to find a seam. Again, drops a pass inside to Johnson, who gets a bump, and he'll go to the free throw line.
And right now what you're watching, Liam, is you're watching the game come to Wilbekin little by little. Why? Because he's getting everybody else involved in the game now. He got the dunk before for Stanton Kidd, and this time he gets the foul and the 2 shots. So this is what Wilbekin had to do. I talked about that 3-pointer that he gave up before. That's a smart player. That's a veteran player. That player right there, Scottie Wilbekin, 2-3 years ago, would take that 3 just to hurry up and get it off. This time he's like, this time I'm gonna get the ball to the basket and get it down to Stanton Kidd, who gets up against the dunk. And Stanton Kidd, of course, the hero, hit that big 3.
That's right, yeah.
In game 1, it was.
Wilbekin with 3 assists tonight. Just 25 years of age in his first EuroCup campaign, at 2 seasons of EuroLeague with Darussafaka. Johnson misses the 2nd free throw. Ragland will flash out to get the basketball and wants that high ball screen. Ragland again goes to the rim, can't finish. But Quale there to take out the trash.
Yeah, Quale does a great job of getting to the basket. That's what he has to do as a big man, knowing that their bigs are going to go to help on the block shot.
Wilbekin trying to break down Kulagin. Spilled it, got it back, moves it on, one more. Johnson takes it up, his shot won't fall. And Quale with the defensive rebound.
Look at the bodies in the paint.
I'm impressed there with the effort and energy, Joe, of Wilbekin. You know, he lost it but fought hard to get it back. Here's your most gifted offensive player. And how often do you see offensive players sometimes maybe taking possession off, but he's certainly playing really hard, you know?
He knows he's not in the position right now to take a possession off it. Plus, when you have a guy like Kulagin in your face, I mean, I'm more impressed by his defense, the way he's playing. He's straight up defending. He almost got the steal right there. Wilbekin was lucky to get that ball back and get it off to Johnson.
Kulagin had 32 points. And of course, we know Wilbekin had 40, so two offensively talented players showing they can play some D. And then you leave him alone, and Kulagin knocks down a three of his own.
You've just seen him build confidence over the years, and that 32-point game the other day was huge. Ooh.
First time I saw Kulagin play, Joe, he was with Russia in the under-19 World Championship. He was an all-tournament selection back in 2011. It's great to see him now here as a more accomplished pro. Baseline jump shot from Kidd rattles in.
It's a nice play right there. Like not going into the zone right there, knowing where the defense is, stopping short and pulling up for two.
A lost art, that mid-range jump shot.
I was just going to say that, Leo. Took the words right out of my mouth.
I should let you do the analytical stuff.
No,
I love
it. I love it. I was just going to say that myself. You see the double teaming down low. Every time Cooling gets it, that's another thing that David Blatt probably talked about. He knows that Kulagin down low can distribute the ball in and out, get to the 3 points. He wants to get double teams on him. Don't let him get to the basket either.
Kulagin's got good length as a shooting guard at 196. You see Coach Blatt working the sideline. Past the midway mark of the second quarter. And it's been a cagey affair. Neither team can really shake free of the other. There's Kulagin in the low post. The running hook is up and good.
Yeah, that time it was Will Cummings that gave him a little bit too much space. Just went down there, put a hand in, didn't get his body in Kulagin's way.
Kulagin with 5. And 5 points the difference. Wilbekin on the bench now, getting a break. Kidd, turnaround jump shot, and knocks it down.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting how you see the defensive intensity die down a little bit on Lokomotiv's side when Wilbekin's not in the game. You don't see as much action going on, as much jumping around looking for that ball screen. They've got two good, decent looks at the basket without him.
Great execution of the half-court set. Kulagin with the pass, and Quale, easy lay-in of a back pick.
That beautiful flick right there by Trevor Lacey down low. It's a little misdirection play. Both coaches using the misdirection as much as they can.
Cummings now going to ride the ball screen from Eric. Ragland stays close. Cummings pulls the trigger on a 3. That hits the heel of the rim. A little bit of volleyball. Who's going to come up with it? Back in the hands of Darussafaka. It's Antipov with the foul. And again, Wilbekin's going to come right back in again, Joe. He's at the scorer's table. So quick visits. Yeah. Maybe the coaching's having a quick word with him. He comes straight back in again.
I think at this point, David Blatt just wants to get him in and out, get him back into the game. He sees the rhythm that he's getting. He sees that maybe he's getting a little bit too rushed offensively. Although he's made a couple nice passes, and he wants to give the rest of the players a little chance to get in there and get the movement. They play well without him. They went on, what, a 4-0 run with Wilbekin on the bench.
Absolutely right. Pavel Antipov with the foul there, so it'll be possession here for Darussafaka. As a player, do you want to get in as early as you can, get some minutes in your legs, get a little sweat going, even if it's in and out? You want to get involved in the game as quickly as you can?
You don't ever want to come out. I never wanted to come out.
Spoken like a true player.
Yeah.
Wilbekin finds space, lets it fly, and that is pure.
Right off the bench.
Well, here's the amazing thing. You know, I mean, he hasn't had a lot of good looks. He finally the 2 good looks he's had, he's knocked down.
Yeah, that's just the way he is. That's what he's been doing all season long for this team.
So efficient. Wilbekin on offense. Collins now uses his body to good effect, gets in the lane. That shot partially blocked by Kidd. To the corner. Shot too strong. Off the mark by Kidd with his first miss. 2 minutes of play. Back come Kuban. Just 2 points between the two teams. It's seesawed back and forth in this first half. As Lacey backs it out. Lacey lost his footing.
Yeah,
it stays in possession of Kuban, but there's no time left on the shot clock.
Yeah, amazing defense by Darussafaka. I honestly think that Darussafaka is playing better defense. They're more physical, especially around the basket. And yeah, offensively, I always talk to players and say you have to be physical offensively also. You have to use your body a lot. But when you're seeing guys like Marty Collins and Ragland get in the basket, actually using their body, and the defense of Darussafaka is absorbing the contact and still making the defensive play.
Little touch play over the top, and it's going to lead to a turnover. Well, Wilbekin comes up with it. Cummings lines up a three, and that's good. Back-to-back threes from Darussafaka will bring a timeout from Coach Abranovich, who wants to talk about his team's defense. And a good passage of play here from Darussafaka.
Well, you saw Ragland jump out at Wilbekin. Watch Ragland come off him a second here. Watch, he fakes the pass, and look how aware Ragland was and not let that ball get back to Wilbekin. We'll let Cummings shoot. We'll let Cummings beat us, but we're going to try not to let Wilbekin beat us.
And that's exactly what Ragland is saying to the coach on the bench. Hey, coach, wasn't my guy who scored.
Exactly.
You got to talk to somebody else.
I'm just doing what you told me, coach. Look at the evenness of this again.
Look at this, just 1 point in it. 1 point at the end of the first quarter. It's honors even here in the second quarter. And, you know, just again to talk about the tactics of the game, Joe, coaches talk about 3 phases of offense. You know, 1, we want to score in transition. 2, maybe some free play, some space and play, and then 3, go to sets. But it seems like both teams are just grinding down half-court sets right now.
Yeah, we haven't seen any team yet get into that transition mode at all. And they're not even, you know, there's a certain thing called secondary transition also, that once you get off your transition, you don't get into it, you get into your play. They're just going right into their plays here because they know they're not getting much out of the transition. So they're not, a lot of times they're not even running. You saw Wilbekin a minute ago had a chance off that tap out of the out-of-bounds play. He had a chance to run a fast break, and he actually slowed up a little bit at the half-court line.
Yeah, absolutely right. And both sets of players aware this is a final. They don't want to make mistakes, and for the most part, it's been a mistake-free game. I'm just trying to have a look at turnovers for each team. 4 turnovers for Kuban, and just the 2 turnovers for Darussafaka. So both teams have been excellent with the basketball in their hands.
Clean game. Considering the intensity at defensive level on both sides, very few turnovers. Zone again by Darussafaka.
Listen to the communication amongst the players as they talk about responsibilities. Ragland's going to throw a high arching 3, rattles in and out. And look at Collins with a great hustle play for Kuban.
Well, David Blatt has got to be going crazy on that bench.
An extra possession here for Kuban. Can they turn it into points? Lacey spots up for the mid-range jump shot. That is no good. And although it's not an offensive rebound here by Eligar, it's his presence and activity which causes the turnover.
There's no statistic about that whatsoever unless you're watching this game and you see his aggressiveness going to the basket. He made contact with 2 Darussafaka players and caused them to knock the ball out of bounds, which gives his team another 14 seconds.
It's the 10th offensive rebound for Kuban, and you're right. Coach Blatt will be talking about that in the halftime changing room. Bab wants a ball screen. Collins, good individual skill by the American, and he knocks down that mid-range jump shot.
These guys are pros. These guys are great players. If you give them 3-4 possessions, they're eventually going to knock one down.
Collins with 5 points. He's got his club up by 1. Wilbekin's pass ultimately finds the hands of Cummings. That won't drop for him. Good work this time by Darussafaka on their offensive glass. Just their 3rd offensive rebound, but these extra possessions so important to both clubs. That's a bomb from Wilbekin. Oh my goodness. I was getting out of my seat, Joe, as he let that one fly. Maybe a symptom of his frustration, perhaps, because it comes early in the shot clock, and it is. He need a stamp on that one.
Yeah, that was a difficult shot. I don't know if he was thinking 2 for 1 right there, trying to get the ball back on the possession-wise, but it didn't work out for him because he was so far away. It took 5 seconds to get there.
Well, waning seconds here of the first half. It's been a cagey affair between these two clubs. Neither team can really establish a lead. Just about 1 or 2 second differential between shot clock and game clock. And what a heady play here by Bab. He gets his defender off his feet and earns a trip to the line.
Yeah, he's going to go to the line for 3 right there, try to give his team a 4-point lead going here in the half. He's going to give another possession with 4.6 seconds left here to go into second quarter. I'm sure David Blatt will draw something up for his team. And he's one of the best coaches in Europe at drawing up plays and timeouts and coming out of first and second quarters.
Well, just a heady play here from Bab. I presume it's Obradovic who called this timeout. He wants to probably perhaps manage his last possession as Lokomotiv Kuban will get it back after the free throws.
Yeah, both teams are trying to figure out how to finish off this quarter right here because it was a great play to get those 3 free throws, but what you did at the same time was you left 4.6 seconds on the clock for the other team.
And this is exactly the tactical game that we were talking about. 2 outstanding coaches, and we were talking about who might get the edge. And you can see the chess game starting here. We usually see this at the end of the game, Joe, but here it is, the chess game, just at the end of the first half.
No, you know, I always talk about in each quarter, it's really important to get the last 2 minutes of the quarter. It's how do you go into the next quarter? How do you go into halftime? How do you go into the fourth quarter? I think it's so important to catch a rhythm. Make a little run with that in the last 2 minutes. And what right now, you're just thinking to yourself, I just want to go in the locker room with the lead. It doesn't matter. You know, a lot of times you go in the locker room with the lead and you say, okay, well, we're leading, but we're not playing well. Both these teams are going to just be happy to go in the locker room with the lead if they can get it.
Well, it is as we anticipated. It has been a gritty, physical, defensive-minded game so far. Bab will step to the free throw line. He'll have a chance to tack on 3 more points in his 3rd EuroCup season. From Topeka, Kansas originally. Certainly not in Kansas anymore. We are here in Russia for the EuroCup Finals, game 1 of this 3-game series. And it certainly hasn't failed to entertain yet.
And you know, you have to respect him from outside that 3-point line until he shot 33% this season, so.
It's Wilbekin who committed that foul. And that's a foul where you don't want to go back to the bench. You don't want the timeout because you commit a foul at the end of the quarter. Guy's got 3 free throws. And it's just painful, isn't it? You're watching the guy you fouled just take his time and knock down 3 shots.
If we remember correctly, Wilbekin was the same player that made that foul with 3.8 seconds left in the first quarter.
Oh, that's right.
They stuck him with another 3-pointer, so that's 6 points on his credit.
Well, Bab dispatches all 3. And some pressure up the floor here from Kuban as they try to make sure every shot's contested. It's Cummings.
Nice play right there by Lokomotiv to commit that 4th foul. Knowing they're not going to get to the line. Give them the ball at half court with 1.9 seconds to go. It's going to be a difficult play right now for Darussafaka.
Ilietzky with the foul. He's won this competition before with Himki. Back in 2015, long pass to Wilbekin, draws a crowd, lets it fly. And his shot is just short, but all credit to him. He was able to get that shot off on a quick release.
He makes that shot, and I'm out of my seat. He caught that going one way, turned the other way, and still got it to the rim.
Well, stay with us, fans, here at halftime in game 1 of this final series in the EuroCup. We're going to try and get some courtside interviews and some stats before we take a break. And here is Scottie Wilbekin.
Game just as expected, right? Yep, just as we expected, tough and physical. What allowed the Loco to get the lead in the first half? What allowed Loco to get the lead in the first half?
They controlled the offensive rebounds. We let them get too many offensive rebounds.
Thank you very much.
Well, short comments there from Wilbekin, but he's bang on, Joe. A lot of offensive rebounds for Kuban tonight.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. That's been the key of this
Dimitri,
game.
what allowed your team to get the lead in the first half?
I start from this is a final. Anyway, this is a tough game for us, but we are trying to follow our plan and be aggressive. Try it all out. Don't let Wilbekin score a lot of points. So I think second half will be better for us. So
thank you very much.
Well, the thoughts of the 2 guards there, Scottie Wilbekin and Mitri Kulagin. Here's your score at halftime. Lokomotiv Kuban up 4 at home in Game 1 of the EuroCup Finals. Halftime highlights, first half highlights in this Game 1 here in Kuban. It's been a cagey and close affair throughout. Mitri Kulagin here with one pass to Collins, who knocked down a couple of threes. Marty Collins, the veteran, with 5 points. Frank Elgar with 7, and Chris Bob with 6 to pace scoring for the hosts. Scottie Wilbekin, of course, drawing a lot of attention. And Wilbekin with 8 points at halftime, but he has 4 assists. All credit to him. You can see there, knocking down a 3. One of the very few open looks he's had tonight. Wilbekin said in his comments, it's been, as we expected, a physical, gritty defensive encounter. Joe Ragland with a couple of drives to the basket, and Sant-Roos also profiting from the attention that Wilbekin got. Frank Elgar showed some good interior play, and you can see how passionate Coach Abradovic is. Second basket there from Ragland. And good activity there. That's been the sum of this first half. It's the offensive rebounding of Kuban. 10 offensive rebounds for Kuban, giving the team extra possessions. And no doubt Coach Platt will be talking about this. Stanton Kidd came off the bench to provide some scoring for Darussafaka. And the veteran here, Collins, showing an array of skills with the ball in his hands, 33 years young. Lost this competition with Strasbourg back in 2016. Would love to win it here. And here is our first half score. Lokomotiv Kuban up 4, 35-31 here in Russia. It's a 4-point difference as we go to break. Come back and join us at the end of this halftime intermission for the second half of Kuban versus Darussafaka.
The basket hall home of Lokomotiv Kuban Krasnodar.
Antipov to look for his aim and landing. That shooting arm is working again.
Lokomotiv Kuban Krasnodar 100% unbeaten in the first half of regular season.
Oh, lovely pass down the court. Oh, and he's jammed up by Collins.
Oh, that's great execution.
Fab, it's the three-pointer.
Collins, it all opened up for him there to run in for the layup for another 2. Krasnodar will be the winners of Group C in EuroCup.
Says, I will have that, thank you very much. Rokov, yes! It's Lacey who's directing affairs now. Through side, Lacey yet again! Trevor Lacey is seeing them home.
Lokomotiv Kuban Krasnodar, their record now over the course of the season. Played 16, won them all. Kulagin, he'll take it all on his own. Ragland for 3, Ragland jacks it up, and Lokomotiv lead for the first time here tonight. This is just ridiculous, Kulagin. He has been the man on fire here in quarterfinals. A fantastic season for Lokomotiv, and they'll have a chance in the final against Darussafaka to close it out with a perfect record.
We are in the Volkswagen Arena, the home of Darussafaka Istanbul.
Over the top, the alley-oop, Darussafaka Dosh lead again.
Slams it down at full speed, what a play!
And Eric says, get that out of here. Well, at the top of the table, Group A, you can write down the name Darussafaka.
the master of the comeback, David Blatt.
Darussafaka Istanbul have qualified for the top 16 of the 7 days EuroCup.
Regular season MVP. A highlight reel slam.
Oh, he loved to slam that down.
Baigel's done it again. What kind of night is Mohamed Baigel having here?
Well, that will do it. Derby day delight for Darussafaka.
My goodness me, that is a hell of a shooter. Wilbekin, what a recovery from him. And that really is going to hurt.
Brilliant, right on the buzzer. Can you believe what you've just seen? They can't, nobody can. Darussafaka have come on the road to unbeatable at home Bayern Munich, and they've come away with a huge win that books their place in the EuroCup final. Quick strike time, and they put another one on the board here before the buzzer. That's exactly what they're going to try and do, and that was brilliantly done. Oh, Brian Wiley. And now that's taken a lot of the air out of this arena.
17-6. Good movement of the ball once more. Antipov quickly onto Kulagin, who's stationary. Now he moves. Elagor!
And that's a turnover back with the steal. Raglan, Kulagin, all the way, Kulagin. 2:15 to go. Reggio Emilia down by 13 points. Lacey, top of the key. Up top, and oh, what a slam on the reverse from Elagor. I got the alley. If you got the oop, says Lacey to Elagor.
There is Bab. His pass to Elagor is not complete. But Sedovina keep it in play, or perhaps they shouldn't, because it's rammed home by Elagor.
Sant-Roos. Oh, Michael Eric slams it down at full speed. What a play! Sant-Roos turns it over, and he will hang it up for Johnson. Oh, he loved to slam that down. Howard Sant-Roos.
The steal, inevitably, Howard Sant-Roos. And the flashy reverse layup to go with it as well. All his own work, Howard Sant-Roos.
Crosses over, good defending. Wilbekin and Johnson! Double clutching, thunderous dunk from Johnson.
Wilbekin guarded by two, double team, gets it out to Sant-Roos, clock's ticking, somebody's got to make a move, Stanton Kidd goes for it all and nails it! A stunning finish to this game, Stanton Kidd with a triple. With less than half a second remaining, can you believe what you've just seen? They can't, nobody can. This is a stunning comeback from a team that never knows when it's beaten. Wilbekin for another one of those threes. This is unbelievable from Scottie Wilbekin. It's been Scottie Wilbekin and his 41 points. This is unbelievable from Scottie Wilbekin. Where has this come from? This is outrageous. It's off the scale.
Coach, your team is leading 25-12 in rebounds. Is that the aggressiveness that you were looking for?
Okay, this is the one part which we says, like is the key to win the game. We control very good, like this. Rebound we have, like give us a certain advantage.
Thank you, Coach.
Decided advantage on the backboard, and those 10 offensive rebounds, which go a long way into explaining how well they've done in the first half. We'll hope to get the thoughts of Coach Blatt as he comes out of the change room. Maybe, Joe, just a quick thought on Lokomotiv Kuban and Coach Obradovic.
Yeah, they did exactly what they wanted to do, maintain the rhythm of the game, control the tempo. Defensively, they got a little bit out of sorts at one point, but they got right back in. Offensively, they got a little bit better continuity offensively in the second quarter, later in the second quarter, but most of it came from second chances and second opportunities. And if you're a big man for Darussafaka, you're looking at your guards going, hey, what's going on? Because Trevor Lacey has 3 of those offensive rebounds. Marty Collins has the other 2. So half of the 10 offensive rebounds are coming from the guard positions. But remember, it's Alagar tapping them out and these guys picking them up too. So your guards have to stick around and box out until you have possession. Wilbekin and these guys cannot get out on the break before your team has possession. I'm sure that's something that David Blatt talked about in halftime.
Yeah, coaches talk about gang rebounding, don't they? Team rebounding on the defensive end. And as you said, I can remember coaches saying to me, if you can't get an offensive rebound, just tip it. Maybe someone else on your team gets it.
Yeah, that's definitely part of the game. But what you have to be concerned about all the time is the fact that when you're a guard and you want to get out on that break as quick as you can, as soon as you see that ball go up, you kind of assume that your team's going to get it, especially if you see somebody get boxed out. Alagar's coming over the back of these guys and keeping the ball alive. If Wilbekin pops out and his player sticks around, it's his player that's going to get the rebound in the long run. In this case, Marty Collins or Lacey.
We've both been impressed by the transition defense of both teams. Neither team can really get out and get any easy baskets on the run.
I know I'm not supposed to give the questions here, but my question is it the lack of transition, or is it the good transition defense? I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Good question, because we saw Scottie Wilbekin have one occasion on a long rebound. We thought off he goes in the break, but he himself slowed it down, didn't he, for Darussafaka?
Yeah, I think again, what I talked about before, dictating the tempo of the game. I think that Lokomotiv did that in the beginning. The first 5, 6, 7 possessions, they got back so quickly on defense and shut everything down, and that slowed Darussafaka down from that point on. They didn't even look to run after that.
Well, if you were with us in the first half, welcome back here to the Basket Hall in Krasnodar. If you're just joining us here for second half action, a very warm welcome to you. It has been a closely fought, cagey affair between two teams who are not willing to give an inch defensively. No quarter asked, no quarter given. And Darussafaka come back with that first possession in the white uniforms, Kuban in the red. And they start in some zone defense.
Yeah, starting out with zone. There's the middle shot. That's where you need the ball to go to in the zone.
Right to the high post, and Johnson knocks it down. First basket to Darussafaka as we open the second half.
I don't think we'll be seeing much zone after that one.
Easy basket right in that high post. Kuban come out with Raglan. Kulagin, who gets a clean look at a 3. It's off the mark, but again, Joe, we see a foul against a three-point shooter.
But if we see this play again, Liam, we're going to see Eric take his time getting out, not expecting Kulagin to pull up for that 3 so quickly. I saw the big man coming up, and you can see where Eric was stepping out slowly, and now what he had to do there is he had to lunge towards the shooter, Kulagin, and that just made him commit the foul. It's just, and what that is just not being ready. You just came out in the second half. You're not warmed up yet. So you see that quick play, you want to jump out. If that was 10 minutes ago, he would have jumped out and had a hand in Kulagin's face, and we'd have never been able to pull up for that three-pointer.
Kulagin converts the second free throw.
We talked about him coming off the bench, but we haven't seen him go back very often.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, he didn't start it, did he? But he's been in the game ever since. In his second EuroCup season, was a EuroLeague champion with CSKA, and he's made the move from the big club CSKA here to the Kuban, maybe to get some more court time, and certainly paying off. He's got himself a trip to the finals.
Yeah, he's making it worth it, that's for sure.
Zone trap up the floor, and then there you go, Joe. You're exactly right. Kuban go back to man-to-man defense. Scottie Wilbekin's eyes must have lit up when he saw that zone. Didn't get a touch. He's going to try and manufacture a shot here. Step back three is short. And Collins with another rebound. Sixth rebound for Collins. He's the leading rebounder on the club.
You talk about Kulagin's offensive prowess all day long, but he is really playing great defense on Wilbekin. He's been sent out there to stop him, and he's been the main candidate right now for this Lokomotiv team to shut down Wilbekin, doing a great job. And what I've noticed is they've kind of gotten away from the ball a little bit here in this beginning of the second half. With the ball in Wilbekin's hands, they're letting him come off of picks to see if they can get him open in different ways.
Yeah, classic combination guard, isn't he, Joe Wilbekin? He can play the point, he can play the off guard, can play with the ball in his hands or without it. As you can see, Collins, little individual move, nothing but net.
Nice little step back right there by Marty Collins, and he's been trying to knock down that shot all game long, and now he's going to get into a rhythm. Watch out for him.
Collins with 7, joint top scorer right now. Elegar with 7 for Kuban. Sant-Roos penetrates, has to kick it out. Another turnover against Darussafaka.
And again, you see Roos taking over the offensive possession right there with Scottie Wilbekin sitting in the corner. They want to make some more movement. They want to get some more movement if they can and get Wilbekin the ball maybe on the third or fourth pass so that he can do something with it. But him coming up the floor by himself looking for that pick and roll hasn't worked in the first half, and Coach Blatt knows that.
Well, Will Cummings comes in, and Cummings can handle the ball a little bit. Maybe he's a good foil. Maybe he can create something for Wilbekin.
We're going to see with Roos on the bench if they're going to continue to do that and let him play almost the off guard instead of the point guard, Wilbekin.
Ragland on the down screen, pops up, he'll get in the lane, kicks it, good inside-out basketball by Kuban. It just wouldn't drop for Collins.
Darussafaka got a break right there. They have to stay into this game as much as they can offensively. Down 7, it's a dangerous team to go down a lot of points to because of the way they defend.
That's the largest lead that any team has enjoyed so far, the 7-point differential for Kuban. Just 1 point between the two teams at the end of the first quarter and 4 points between the two teams at halftime. Now here's Cummings. We'll assume point guard duties here for Darussafaka.
And you see Kulagin not moving from Wilbekin's side as Cummings stop, pops, and drops, but everybody else beat us. He's not going to beat us.
I want to pick up that theme in 1 second, Joe, about trying to neutralize the influence of really offensively talented players. Speaking of which, here's Kulagin and Ragland. All kinds of space. His shot won't drop. Quali keeps it alive, but finally Darussafaka take care of their defensive boards.
Yeah, and you saw 5 guys that time around the foul line. There's no way they're getting up that long rebound anymore if they can.
Yeah, just on that, Joe, 2 schools of thought maybe about neutralizing or trying to play against offensively talented players. Some coaches will say, look, you're going to get yours, and I'm going to take it away everything else from everyone else. I'm going to give you 20, I'm going to give you 25. Well, the other school of thought is, no, we're going to neutralize you, the offensive player, and make somebody else beat us.
But usually you get burned a lot more when you try to neutralize that offensive player because they're great offensive players for a reason. They've faced many different types of defenses, and they know how to get open and they know how to score. So I think what they're doing right now, though, is they're just now Wilbekin's back to putting the ball in his hands and see if he can come off the pick and rolls.
Finds a little space, and the teardrop is good.
Is that pretty or what?
A little old school kiss off the window. Gets it down. He's got double digits now, does Wilbekin. 10 points. Ragland hesitation dribble, moves it on. Kulagin now spots up for a 3. That strikes the front of the rim. Cummings with a chance to break now. Moves it ahead to Wilbekin. Closed out quickly by Collins.
Well, they get back so quick on defense.
Collins now defending in the low post for Kuban. He's doing everything. Now he's going to step to the perimeter, guard the ball. And they're switching all screens, picking up Wilbekin or Kuban. Cummings, baseline jump shot off the mark, and another offensive rebound here for Darussafaka. And Scottie Wilbekin profits.
That is what I call the easiest three-pointer in basketball, because what developed right there is what you do on a daily basis in shooting practice. One guy shooting, one guy getting a rebound. So when the big guy gets that offensive rebound and kicks it right back out to the three-point shooter, there's no better rhythm in basketball for that three-point shooter. Watch what's happening. This is just like practice. Here comes the rebound. I just took a shot. Now he passes the ball back to me, and I take another shot. It's just like he's taken that shot 3 million times in his life.
Just steps right into it, doesn't have to pivot, doesn't have to move his hips, shoulders, hips, feet pointed at the basket. And you talked about how that 7-point lead for Lokomotiv Kuban might be of interest. Well, it's gone now. Darussafaka with a little run of their own.
Yeah, it's disappeared, definitely. They've got a little bit more aggressive offensively. I like what I like that they're doing is they're moving the ball better. Let's listen into this timeout if we can.
Hey, again, I told you we're not going to win like this. Again, you are like crazy. You are like crazy.
Obradovic getting after his team. I told you we're not going to win like this. You're all crazy. You love the passion of Coach Obradovic, and you love the skill set here of Marty Collins, 33 years of age, and he's been doing a little bit of scoring, a little bit of defense, and the leading rebounder as well for Kuban tonight, as you can look at his line on tonight's game.
And we talked about his progression throughout the season earlier. He was averaging around 8 points a game in the regular season, the top 16. Went up to 13 in the quarterfinals and 16 points a game in the semifinals. And during that semifinals, 16 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 4.5 assists. So he's become a leader for this team over this time.
Yeah, two-time All-EuroLeague first-team selection. There's an interview with Collins on the EuroCup website, and he said, you know, in the absence of Brokov, I'm finding myself getting on the floor a little bit more, maybe more than I would like, to be honest, at my age, but he's playing great so far tonight.
Well, you just informed me that you're a New England Patriots fan in NFL football, so it's next man up mentality, right?
Absolutely right, absolutely right. I thought what we said off air was a little confidence between us. I gotta be careful what I say to you.
Be careful, be careful.
Lacey around the screen of Elgar. Elgar rescreens. Here's Collins. That's off the mark. And look how Johnson skies for that rebound for Darussafaka.
And look at the difference in the game that Darussafaka can play when they get that defensive rebound right off the bat, and they get a possession with more momentum is what they're doing. They're getting out. You see people running the floor this time. Now, they're sticking around. They got their 5 guys around that semicircle, around the circle at the foul line. And what they do is once they secure that rebound, then they're getting out. There was no doubt about who was getting that rebound. Johnson got
he was
up
the
over
highest,
the rim.
that's for sure. Well, Dmitry Hostov has come back into the game. He had those 2 early fouls. He got his shooting shirt off. Number 13 for Kuban. He's back in. Turn his attention to trying to guard Will Cummings. Cummings all by himself. Let's fly with a 3. That hits the heel of the rim. Long rebound. Elgar runs it down. Knotted up at 40 each as we approach the midway mark of the third quarter. Hofstoff, that's a tough bounce pass. That's a little bit too much work for Elgar to do, but he manages to get it up on the rim and Kuban get it back.
I look at it, all he could catch that ball with both hands.
Lacey lets fly with a 3 of his. And now it's off the mark, and Elgar runs down that long rebound. Another offensive rebound for Kuban, their 11th. Oh, great pass to Lacey. Another pass inside. And the collapsing defense of Darussafaka contesting every shot.
You know, we talked earlier about the minimal rotation that Blatt has been using throughout the quarterfinals and the semifinals. Probably going to have the same thing going on tonight, but you know, every time you give up that offensive rebound now, it just takes so much out of you defensively. Your mentality is to defend for 24 seconds. You defend for those 20, 22, 23 seconds. You give up a shot, you give up 3 offensive rebounds. It just tires you out so bad mentally and physically. And without a big rotation that Blatt hasn't been using lately, that won't pay dividends. It'll pay more dividends for Lokomotiv down the end than it will for Darussafaka, that's for sure.
See Coach Blatt there on the sideline just having a word with his players, the referees conferring here. Lokomotiv led by 7. It was the largest lead of the game so far. Darussafaka quickly eradicated that deficit. See the head official. Joe, I must admit, I didn't see what they're talking about here. They're going over to the video monitor to replay something. Usually this means they're looking at how much time is on the clock or how much time is on the shot clock.
Yeah, I think it might have been the shot clock. I'm not sure exactly what that was either. I'm sitting there, I was looking up at the stats and the time. It seems like Blatt is rotating a little bit more of these games than he had in the quarterfinals and the semifinals.
But you're right, that bench will get shorter as this game continues to stay close and as we move to the fourth quarter, won't it?
Yeah, it looks like they're looking up at the shot clock right now. Not an easy job for the person at the shot clock either, with so many offensive rebounds flying around. You have to know exactly when to hit that clock, put it back to 14 seconds. A lot of times you might have that instinct when you see a rebound going in the other team's hands at first to hit that 24 seconds, but you have to put it back to 14. So difficult job by the people at the table.
16 on the shot clock now. Hoshtoff at the point for Kuban. He'll let fly with a 3. That's hard off the mark.
He's been waiting for that 3 since he came out of the game in the first quarter.
Finally gets on the floor. He's going to get a shot up, that's for sure. Wilbekin runs off a pick from Aldemir. Look at Hoshtoff. Wilbekin went almost all the way over to the Kuban bench, and Hoshtoff says, listen, I've been over there too. I'll go right with you. Elegar commits the foul.
Yeah, that's a foul with 3 seconds on the shot clock. Another terrible foul that you just can't commit. And you know, that foul might not hurt you right now, but it does hurt you with 4 minutes and 12 seconds left. Now, next foul, you're going into the bonus, and you look up again, 4 seconds left on the shot clock right there as Elegar commits that foul. But you are right, they're not even, there's Wilbekin now trying to go one-on-one. Got the baseline open, doesn't take it though.
Just the first personal foul on Elegar. Into the low post here, Johnson moves it on, shot clock running down. And again, Joe, less than 5 seconds on the shot clock. At least now it's a contested shot. You don't mind it so much, but when that shot clock runs down, you got to play defense with discipline.
Yeah, that play you have to defend a little bit better, but it was Cummings that made the play right there. Again, what I talked about with Elegar earlier is Cummings making that move as the ball's coming to him. We didn't see it there because we saw it as soon as the ball got in his hands, but he's already going to the basket. A lot of times players like to catch that ball and take that first look. If you see that ball coming at you, you meet the ball and go right through it. You've already beaten one defender. You may have one more to beat, and this time you got the foul and knocks down the first free throw.
So Will Cummings, one of 4 or 5 players with Philadelphia connections. Cummings, a graduate of Temple University, as Michael Eric, his teammate. Cummings 2015, Eric 2012. Marty Collins graduated in 2006 from Temple. Great to see the Philadelphians here on the top stage of European basketball.
We got a Villanova man too.
Yeah, that's exactly right. James Bell, who's injured, but from Villanova.
That unfortunately left Villanova right when they won 2 out of 3.
2 national championships out of 3. Collegiate ranks of the U.S. Here he is, Collins now. Drives to the basket. Tough, hard-nosed basket by Marty Collins.
You just see him being the leader of this team. He's taking his age very seriously at 33 years old and taking over this game. He's been doing it from the first possession of the contest.
9 points for Collins.
Oh, what a nice move right there by Will Cummings. I don't even know how he got that first dribble past the defender. He went so low on it and still was able to get to the basket and finish with the left. But I like what Darussafaka is doing here in the second half. They've given Wilbekin a little bit of break, even though he doesn't have the ball in his hand as much.
Well, the 2 Temple products going to work. Collins' little spin move along the baseline. Great block by Stanton Kidd. Collins picks the pocket of Wilbekin. Can he convert now in transition and move to Hoshtoff and get it back? Oh, what a block inside! Johnson with a great effort.
And that's how you win championships right there, Liam. You have to get back and never give up on a play. Look at Darussafaka. You got players that are sitting there watching and going slow down, but it's Johnson who comes in and makes the play, pins it against the glass.
Well, what a steal from Collins. He just picks the pocket of Wilbekin. And I think Hoshtoff maybe a little bit too unselfish here, Joe.
He might have been, but it was because Wilbekin didn't give up on the play, didn't want to give up the free basket. So he made one extra play, and sometimes that extra play just gives you just enough time for another man to come back. And he was lucky that time that it was Johnson that was flying back on the defensive side. And you know, those are the little plays in a 40-40 game in a 2-point game that make a difference when it's all said and done.
Absolutely. The game came alive there. Had a little transition opportunity, and all credit to Johnson, who's got to come back. You know, Johnson's probably in the low post when that steal happens. He's got to run the length of the floor. Great hustle play by Johnson to block that shot.
And I got you excited, too.
Oh, absolutely.
We got a steal at half court, a transition. We got you a little excited. You got me up on my feet over here.
Yeah, it's been terrific action here.
Yeah, great play by Johnson. It's what David Blatt preached in the beginning of this game. I'm not asking for perfection. I'm asking for effort. And that right there is an effort play. There's nothing more to it, because I couldn't see who the other players were on the court, but there were 2 players that wouldn't even think about getting back over half court there.
And how often do you see it on the, you'll remember this as a playing days, offensive transition drills. There's always a trailer who wants to come and maybe get a putback or get a tip, but there were no red jerseys there. It was just white jerseys hustling back on defense.
That's all it was right there. You know what? There comes a moment in the play where, like you said before, you want to take a break offensively sometimes. And when you see a 2-on-1 break, the first thing you assume is, okay, we're going to get a basket out of this.
Yeah.
So it's no big deal. But you also, when you're on the defensive side, you also think, well, you know what? This is going to be an easy basket. No need for me to run back.
And I love Scottie Wilbekin there. He gets his pocket picked, and Scottie Wilbekin's an offensive talent, but he doesn't give up on it. He just gets himself back, and he contests the shot. And all credit to him.
This is the championship.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the championship.
There you go.
Absolutely. You can't give up anything in the championship. There's no doubt about it. It might be 3 games, but this is a huge one.
Bab off a down screen. Perfect end line out of bounds play by Loco Kuban, and Bab knocks down to 3.
Oh, and you feel with that play, the crowd get into it, a little bit more energy in the Lokomotiv team. Let's see how they pick it up defensively now.
Aldemir trying to find Wilbekin, and Lacey right now is just sticking to Wilbekin like chewing gum. Cummings with a great hesitation dribble to get to the window, can't convert.
It's 2 great play in a row by Cummings, just couldn't finish that one off, but the last one was just as pretty.
Kulagin keeps the ball in his hands. And Bab, who's made 1 3, comes out and get it. Kulagin won't give it up. Shot clock now at 5. Well, Kulagin. And again, we talk about great defense here, but it's just in the depth of the shot clock, a foul by Darussafaka.
But what is Lokomotiv doing here, Liam? They're making Wilbekin work. How many picks did he have to run through right there?
Yeah.
How much area did he have to cover on the floor to go and defend Bab, especially since he just made a 3 the possession beforehand. So they're making Wilbekin work on both ends of the floor.
So he's got to fight through screens. He's got to cover ground. He's got to stay with Bab. And you're asking him to do a lot of work defensively.
5-second call.
Yeah, great defense here. Aldemir Wright, or Ulubai, I beg your pardon, is putting pressure on the basketball. Causes the turnover.
Well, Kulagin's got to think right there. You got to have a mental clock in your head and know when you have to throw that ball off your defender's knee that's sitting in front of you, because you cannot afford to throw it out towards the half-court line and get the stolen pass and an easy basket for the other team.
Just the 5th turnover by Lokomotiv Kuban. Very clean game for them, and only 4 turnovers by Darussafaka as well. So both teams have been excellent with the basketball in their hands.
And the key to Darussafaka in this game right now is they've only got 2 offensive rebounds here in the second half. And Wilbekin is so mad at himself right now for not getting that shot off.
Yeah, you hear the whistle as a shooter. Get that ball up on the rim.
Did you see his reaction as soon as he heard the whistle? And he's like, why did I pass that?
Trevor Lacey just having a word with the referee. I think Wilbekin's going to get a trip to the line here. Team fouls against Kuban.
Oh, that was the 5th, so they're in the bonus. So it wasn't as bad. Well, Wilbekin knew he made a mistake, though. We're going to see his reaction here as soon as he goes to pass that ball off. And the whistle goes. You see him go, oh. Probably wasn't aware that it was a 15 foul either for Lokomotiv.
Wilbekin perfect from the line so far, 2 for 2. Just 1 previous trip.
Yeah, we've talked about his point production throughout this whole broadcast tonight, but he's also averaged 5 assists a game, and so he's getting people involved in the game on a constant basis. And it's been my big theory for years: if you can't score, you can't be a great consistent scorer if you can't get people involved in the game.
Yeah, I think I'm right in saying too, Joe, he's in the top 5 in steals as well. So he's doing it on both ends of the floor. Antipop lets fly with a 3 and knocks it down.
Opening things up here a little bit. If they can continue to hit a couple 3s like they did, they're going to open up that strong interior defense of Darussafaka.
Just over a minute to play here in the third quarter. Wilbekin trying to find space. Drops a pass into Eldemir. Furkan Eldemir fouled on the floor, but he'll go to the line as Kuban are in the penalty.
Go back to Scottie again. Everything that he gets is coming off of hard work. There's nothing. He's had 2 easy looks in this game. One was off the offensive rebound we saw just a little while ago, and then earlier his first 3 of the game was off the kick out that he got an easy look. But other than that, there's been no easy looks at all for him. He's had to work to get to the basket. He's had to work to develop his own shot, and they've made him work on the defensive end.
I love this substitution too, Joe. At the end of the quarter, right? So Wilbekin will come off. He'll get a couple of seconds at the end of the quarter. He'll get the quarter break, and then he'll go back in, I presume, in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, well, there's a missed foul shot right there. Figuring out the way this 1 minute and 6 seconds will end. I would even think that Blatt might keep him in for another minute into the fourth quarter just to give him that extra breather so that he can finish out the game straight up. But it depends. Right now it's a 1-point lead. If they could get a stop here and come down and score, maybe get that 1-2 point lead going into the fourth quarter, he may decide to keep him on the bench for another minute, minute and a half. But you don't want him there for too long.
Definitely not. Here comes Kuban across the midcourt stripe. Kuban just keeping the ball in his hands. Oh, nice crossover dribble. Oh, and a little kiss off the glass by Kuban.
So pretty. He crossed him up so close to the basket. You don't see it so close. He was right outside the zone when he did that.
Silky moves by the Russian international. Foul here by Elegar.
I like Darussafaka's second half mentality on offense. They're trying to get to the basket as much as they can. It's a nice pick by Johnson in a roll where he takes Kuban out of the play.
So Sant-Roos who goes to the basket on the dribble drive, and he'll go to the line. Just looking at how teams are shooting from the free throw line. So Lokomotiv Kuban, Joe, 7 for 8. And Darussafaka 13 for 17. So both teams very good from the line. Yeah, and you would expect this in a close game like this.
Sant-Roos misses this one as an 89% free throw shooter, so you don't expect him to miss.
Commentator's curse there. Missed them both, but an offensive rebound by Kid, who promptly gives it back. Kuban wants to slow things down here for Kuban as they'll get their final possession of the third quarter. Kuban, a little Euro step, and it wouldn't drop for him. Oh, he's annoyed it didn't drop, Joe, but he's got himself a trip to the line.
Yeah, he's going to the line to give his team a 5-point lead. That's another nice move by Kuban, using the same side of the floor again. This time digging that shoulder in and going, and like you said, using that Euro step. Changes up to the left hand, and not happy that he didn't get the old school 3-pointer right there.
He's frustrated, didn't get any love from the rim, but good penetration by Kuban.
Oh, what a move he made earlier. We didn't get to see it again, but what a that was such
silky,
a quick,
very silky
crossover move from such a close distance to the basket. I'm not sure, did he get around Collins on that play, but it was a beautiful move.
Kuban knocks down that first free throw. He has 11, perfect from the line, 3 for 3 so far tonight. Average is 11 points, so he's bang on his average. He nets them both. So with 23 seconds, Darussafaka trail by 5. Should look to get the last possession here of the third quarter. Trevor Lacey steps out.
Yeah, if you're Darussafaka, the one thing that you don't want to do is give up another possession there. If you're going to get an easy basket layup, you might want to give it up. But if you're not, you cannot give up in the last possession to Lokomotiv.
Wilbekin back in offensively here for Darussafaka. Blatt brings him back in for this last possession. Cummings weaves through the lane. And look at how Kuban will take all the way to the half-court line as Darussafaka score. I'm not sure if Eldemir got the tip in or not. The final heave and hope is off the mark, but Darussafaka finished the third quarter with a basket. And they trim this 5-point deficit they face as both teams head to the benches. Here's your score at the end of 3. It's Lokomotiv Kuban 52, Darussafaka 49 in the finals of the EuroCup. Well, we'll look at some third quarter highlights in this cagey affair between the two best teams in the competition this year. Lokomotiv Kuban with that perfect 20-0 record. Darussafaka 17-3 coming into tonight's game, and the highest differential between tonight's two teams, 7 points. It's been eradicated quickly by Darussafaka. You see the play there of Marty Collins with 9 points. It's Dmitry Kulagin, who's pacing Kuban right now with his 12 points. For Darussafaka, Scottie Wilbekin, the leading scorer, no surprise there, with 15 points, but all of them have come through endeavor and effort. Wilbekin working very hard tonight to get his points. Will Cummings with 9 off the bench. There's that silky move from Dmitry Kulagin, arguably the move of the night. And Joe, as we've anticipated in this one, it's been very close throughout.
Yeah, and it's all about defense also, As we see Lokomotiv with 6 block shots around the basket also, which has been very impressive. It's just, and Darussafaka has done a great job here in the third quarter of closing in that rebound deficit. It's 26-21 now. It's only 5 rebounds. They did a great job on the offensive, on the defensive rebound, I should say, and they picked up some offensive rebounds themselves.
Yeah, all credit to them, because that would have been something certainly that Coach Blott would have talked about at halftime. There's Frank Elegar with a couple of those blocks that you were talking about.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's 6 for Darussafaka, 6 blocks. I knew I didn't look at that correctly when I was thinking about it. I was like, in the first half, they had at least 4 or 5 blocks that we talked about earlier.
None better than that Johnson block when he came back to hustle on the turnover.
I got to tell you, I've enjoyed these first 3 quarters with you. Maybe we're going to work in another extra 5 minutes here by the end of this game.
I've got no problem with some overtime, absolutely. I mean, this game could very well go that way.
Sure looks like it.
It's zone defense here from Darussafaka to start the quarter.
He's come out every quarter with his zone defense for the first possession.
Kulagin, a little hesitation move, and he goes strong to the window and converts.
And this is what we saw him do in the semifinals in that 32-point game. Just get to the basket and go over the top of big men.
32 points for Kulagin against Gran Canaria.
And you see what the little bit of full court pressure does. It makes them set their offense up with 14 seconds left. So it doesn't get them into their offense quick enough. Now they're in a little bit more of a hurry.
Wilbekin now all by himself with a deep, deep 3 over Elegar. He makes it rain. Scottie Wilbekin with a deep 3.
Doesn't really matter how much you make them wait when you got Wilbekin sitting there with the ball in his hands.
Well, you think about it, Wilbekin has got Elegar guarding him on the perimeter, and you think maybe he's settling for a 3, but when you shoot it like that, why not? Elegar inside out play, Bab. Oh, good movement by Bab to open up the shot, just left it short.
Look at how conscious Darussafaka around those long fouls, those long rebounds, picking them all up this half.
Cummings now keeps it in his hands. And good drive here, slow drive by Kidd, but he gets himself a trip to the line. And right now, Coach Obradovic, Joe, really animated, doesn't like this call, this foul against Bab.
Yeah, I think he might have a case here, only because of the way this game has been played throughout the night. Now in the fourth quarter, all of a sudden they call that a foul. But I'll tell you, the player that is really making an impact here in the second half is Cummings, who's getting to the basket, being aggressive, and getting everybody else open. And that's part of the reason why Wilbekin's getting a little bit more action here in the second half.
Well, Cummings with 9 points, an assist, and 5 rebounds. So those guards are doing a better job, as you said, of handling those long rebounds.
And in only 15 minutes of play, so he's putting up some good quality time here.
Cummings in his first EuroCup season. This is his teammate, Kidd. Stanton Kidd also in his first EuroCup season. Baltimore, Maryland native. Makes 1 of 2. And last touch by a Kuban hand. And so Darussafaka will retain possession here on their baseline, trailing by just 1 point.
And the interesting thing about Cummings is he started this regular season very well for Darussafaka, averaging 12 points a game, and he's gone down ever since then, but he's taking up a nice role here in this game tonight, getting a little bit more confidence from Coach Blott.
Well, the two Floridians here, Cummings to Wilbekin. Cummings from Jacksonville, and Wilbekin from Gainesville, Florida.
But how pretty is that rotation when
Yeah,
he shoots
it's
it?
terrific.
Even when he misses it, it's pretty.
Yeah. Hours spent in the gym. Ragland goes hard to the racket, won't fall. Wilbekin with the long rebound, and Marty Collins says, you know what, I'm going to commit the foul right here at half court, and let's stop the transition opportunity.
That's your 33-year-old veteran right there saying, let's not let him get going. He's already made one, just took another one and missed it. Let's not get him into his rhythm. And again, closing out on the rebound. They got the tap. This time you saw, I think it was Elegar got his hand on the ball, but it was Darussafaka who came up with it around the foul line.
Just the first foul on Marty Collins. He's not in any trouble. Wilbekin off a down screen here. Now he comes back to the ball, and Marty Collins staying so close. Now look at Collins' body shape here. He's just trying to keep Wilbekin on one side of the floor, keep him out of the middle. Does a great job of it, does Collins. Cummings had to get it up quick, and off the window.
Cummings off the glass, a 16% three-point shooter this year. He says, I'm better off going off the glass, baby.
Well, big smile there from Cummings as he gets back on defense. And Collins lights it up. Marty Collins with a three. He's got 12.
This is like a little bit of a boxing match, isn't it? Just kind of like feeling each other out for 3 quarters, and now we're going at each other.
Hey,
Let's go.
A lot of guys from Philadelphia. Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
The home of Rocky. Bagul trying to get some space inside, rises and gets it to drop. 57 each. 7 points has been the largest lead enjoyed by Lokomotiv Kuban, quickly erased by Darussafaka. Collins pops up in the low post. Spins baseline and a clinic by Marty Collins in the low post.
He's made that move twice tonight. Any big man would love to have that footwork and those moves down low. Unfortunately, he got one blocked earlier. I think it was by Johnson, but that one was pretty. Used his body a little bit better this time.
Wilbekin now with the ball in his hands. It's Lacey's turn to guard him. And Cummings trying to find something. Cummings goes at Collins, and Collins stands tall.
Both sides of the floor right now, Marty Collins.
Collins kicks it out to Ragland, who steps into a three, and he knocks that down. And this will bring a timeout from Coach Blatt, who wants to bring his team in to talk things over. Lokomotiv Kuban with a purple patch of good form as they get a lead here at home.
Boy, if you would have told me earlier that Marty Collins was going to be running this thing from down on the low post early, I would have never believed you. What a nice set of plays right there to give it to him a 5-0 run and take this 5-point lead.
Well, Collins with a couple of assists, 2 assists, 14 points, and 7 rebounds, on track potentially, Joe, for a double-double, maybe a candidate for the man of the match. And look at your distribution of quarter scoring. This game's been close throughout. Just that 5-point difference in the second quarter.
Yeah, you see Collins with 11 shots from 2 points, 5 from 3, so he is not afraid to take over from this team.
Wherever he is.
Right now,
he can be this, he can be that. Go like you want to set a pick, dribble, fast.
Well, Wilbekin with 18 points to lead Darussafaka, and Will Cummings with 11 points off the bench. 11 points and 5 rebounds for Cummings.
you saw Coach Obradovich's timeout there, or actually I should say it's Coach Blatt's timeout, but Coach Obradovich is talking offensively, but I can guarantee that the last 10 seconds of this timeout for him is going to be, listen, we've gotten here by defense this year. This is how we've won 20 games in a row. We're up 5 with 6 minutes left to go in this game. This is now where we start to dictate rhythm and we play defense. If we play the defense the way we know how to play defense, this 5-point lead, we hold on to it and we go away 1-0.
Yeah, both teams good defensively. Loco Kuban, the best team defensively, allowed just 68.7 points per game, and the second best team, Darussafaka, allowed just 71 points. And both of us Americans, we know the expression, Joe, defense wins championships.
That's what they say.
Wilbekin exchanges with Cummings. Cummings playing peekaboo behind the screen, and Eldemir with some good footwork to lay it up and in.
Boy, he did make a nice play there and held on to the ball too. He's going through a little traffic jam between two players and still got it up with his left hand on the opposite side.
Good finish by Furkan Eldemir. He has 10. Now he has to dig in and defend Eldemir, and he commits the foul against Quali, I beg your pardon. Brian Quali.
Interesting call right there, going right into Quali. Almost like they set that play up for him. Not putting up his numbers tonight. He's only 4 points, but he's a player that could hurt you around the basket. Got to go back into Kulagin here if you get a chance.
Kulagin sets a back pick here now. Nice pass. Oh, what a great pass by Raglan. But Quali can't convert. Here's Wilbekin in the open floor. Cummings slashes to the basket. And Eldemir can't keep it alive. Chance to break here for Lacey. Kulagin attacks. And Wilbekin commits the foul in the low post.
I love Cummings' aggressiveness on the offensive side. He may have had to pull up and run that little floater right there instead of trying to get himself into two defensive players. But still, his aggressiveness, his will to get to the basket has been one of the keys to keeping Darussafaka this close.
Just past the midway mark of the fourth and final quarter, Kulagin's going to come out and get a break. Van up 3. Collins comes right back into the game.
2 team fouls apiece here with 5 minutes left, so neither team really in too much jeopardy of the bonus yet.
Oh, Raglan, pretty crossover, and he goes to the left hand for the lay-in.
Again, taking advantage of the one-on-one right there and getting himself to the basket.
Raglan now the third player in double digits. He has 10, Collins 14, and Kulagin 14 for Kuban.
Got to get something off here, 5 seconds.
Shot clock running down. Johnson spots up, mid-range jumper, off the mark. And Wilbekin chases down the long rebound for Darussafaka.
Well, that's a lucky extra possession right there for Darussafaka. I didn't think they were going to get that shot off.
Wilbekin lets fly with a 3. That strikes iron. And the smallest guy on the floor comes up with a defensive rebound for Kuban. Collins wants a clear out. Going to draw a double team and move it on. Raglan trying to break down Wilbekin. Raglan's shot won't fall. Cummings with the board.
Cummings inside boxing out the big man.
Great help side defense here from Lacey. Buys his team some extra time as he knocks it out of bounds.
Is that a coach's dream or what, when you see your guard boxing out the big man and not only getting the rebound, but getting it on the floor?
Yeah,
letting
absolutely.
it bounce first to get on the floor. That's what you try to practice.
Yeah, how many times do you see that in practice? Exactly right. Just saw Jonas Mačiulis fleetingly. He's joined the team. Lithuanian international, doesn't dress tonight for Kuban. Johnson in the low post against Collins. He chooses to face. And Collins does a great job defensively. Does it gonna count?
Whoa.
It will.
What a shot. DeJuan Johnson right there.
I'm still shaking my head.
I didn't know what he was doing with the ball. It looked like he was just throwing it up there. And again.
Well, it's funny, Joe. I'm going to defer to you on this because, you know, Johnson's got his size advantage called. There's the foul by Collins. And Johnson's got Collins pinned on his back, and he chooses to face up.
Well, what happens is Johnson isn't great going over his left shoulder. So or he's not going over his right shoulder, I'm sorry. So Collins did a good job of forcing him in the middle, not letting him come back. But you're right. I think he's got to get a little bit more, at least get body up a little bit more and try to get a little closer to the basket to make his move. But hey, it worked out for him.
Got the basket, missed the free throw.
That's 2 shots off the backboard. That's worked out for Darussafaka here in the fourth quarter.
Backboard has been generous. Great defense by Stanton Kidd in the low post against Collins. Kulagin spots up and knocks it down.
Dimitri, are you kidding me? I thought that was a terrible shot also, but he drills it.
It's one of those when the coach says, what are attaboy?
Attaboy.
Cummings, has he got an attaboy moment for us? He's gonna try, goes to the right hand, lays it up and in. Cummings responds.
What energy he's brought to this team in the second half. He's really taken over because he's known Wilbekin's not getting the ball, hasn't got his possession. So Cummings is starting to take over, getting to the basket, doing a great job of getting this team back into the game here. Every possession.
Cummings with a baker's dozen, 13 points. Tough pass inside. Great pass by Collins, and Quali with the easy lay-in.
And Quali did exactly what a big man has to do. Get rid of it as soon as you can, because Johnson was coming back behind to get that block shot. We've seen him already do it a couple times tonight. Going basket for basket here.
Kuban lead by 5. Tough pass by Wilbekin, intercepted by Lacey. Little break opportunity. Lacey to the window! Will it count? Oh, it's a goaltending call, but there's that effort again by Darussafaka as they contest the shot.
And I love what Raglan did there, or Lacey did there. Get down the court. You got an advantage. You get on the fast break. You see that the team is beat. You get the steal. Try to get that extra 2 points as quick as you can. I know a lot of people would say slow it down here, but look at the numbers that you have. And everybody's getting back. You had Bab right there, wide open. Love the effort right there by Lacey to get to the basket and get that easy 2.
Goaltending call by Kidd. Remember, the ball strikes the backboard. Players have to wait till it hits the rim.
Now, of course, there's a lot of people out there watching this game going, yeah, and if you miss that layup and Darussafaka gets the rebound, it's a whole different ball game. There's no doubt about it.
I think you're right, though. You've got to be positive at stages of the game here. And, you know, certainly with the advantage in the lead. Great steal by Lacey. Wilbekin with the turnover. Why not go attack, especially at home?
But, you know, what Lokomotiv's defense has done to Wilbekin throughout this game is keep him as far away from the basket as he possibly can. And we saw it right there. He had to force that pass in. That is such a hard pass to make from where he passed it from to his big man, who is already underneath the basket. Too many bodies in the way.
Here's a tough question for you. Going to make you earn your supper here, Joe. So you say to Coach Obradovic before this game starts, you're up 7 with 3 minutes to play at home. You take that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it, especially with the type of defense that your team is capable of playing. You know who your team is. You know what you need. You need that 5 to 7 point lead coming out of 3-4 minutes. And what you do then is you break down each possession into a defense and an offense. We got to get a stop, and we got to get a score. That's all you got to do.
Remember, though, this is a Darussafaka team who have shown a proclivity to come from behind. This game is by no means over. 2 minutes in basketball terms is an eternity. It's Bab's turn now to try and guard Kulagin. I beg your pardon, Wilbekin. Wilbekin pounds it with the left hand. Draws the foul.
Good foul there. Take about 15 seconds off the clock. Foul Wilbekin. Let them take it on the side. From this point on, it's going to be 2 shots for Darussafaka, but I like the decision by Bab.
Sets the back pick. Doesn't open up. Kidd now. Cummings. The teardrop is good. Will Cummings has been outstanding.
That's an amazing game for Cummings. Got to get a stop right here if you're Darussafaka.
Cummings with 50 now. He has to guard the ball as Lacey has it. And Lokomotiv Kuban in no hurry. Their clock is the ally right now for them.
I like this. I think you're looking at the foul situation. Darussafaka with 1:23 left, down 5, only had 2 team fouls. I think you got to get these fouls out of the way right now.
Yeah, especially as the shot clock hasn't gone below 14 yet, right? Yep, so that's exactly. A good foul.
That was a perfect foul to commit right now. And I would this time I think you play defense at these last 14 seconds, and then the next possession you do the same thing again and try to get yourself into that bonus area where you're not worried about wasting too much time fouling.
Collins isolates in the post again. He's been effective here. Kidd standing tall. Step through move. And it wouldn't drop for Elegar, but he gets his offensive rebound. And another possession here for Kuban.
So typical when the big man makes a play like that. He leaves his man on the box out. And Kulagin about to take it one-on-one here.
Kulagin spins baseline. It wouldn't fall. And it's that man right there, Cummings, with the defensive rebound. Big possession here for Darussafaka, down 5 points. Oh, great backdoor pass! And the easy lay-in, but Cummings with the assist! And Sant-Roos with the finish. Pretty basketball from Darussafaka.
That was just great eye contact between Cummings and Sant-Roos. Makes the backdoor cut. You saw the way the offense, look at the spacing. When you have that kind of spacing, you caught Kulagin sleeping just a little bit. And when you have that type of spacing, you make the court bigger and you find more area to make that pass. Great pass by Cummings. What a second half this player has had.
Yeah, a little push pass there right off the dribble by Cummings. And he sets up the basket. 15 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists for Cummings.
And the most important part about that basket, Liam, is the fact that it was quick. It was within the first 10 seconds of the shot clock. Is exactly what they needed at that stage of the game.
Timeout by Coach Obradovic. We're just trying to listen to see if we can hear anything from him. But it's an offensive timeout for Kuban. So what are they going to look here for, Joe, in their possession, Kuban?
First of all, what you want to do is you want to take as much time off the clock as you can. But when you start to worry about taking time off the clock, you start to worry about that 24-second clock. We see 46 seconds left in this game. Minus 24, you got 22 seconds left in the game. But you can't take that much time off the clock because you want to get a good shot and you want to have a chance at an offensive rebound. So I'd say at about the 17-second mark is when you want to start going at the basket so you can get a good look at the basket. Never like when you wait to that last second because it's never a good shot. Every time you stick at the end of a first quarter, end of a second quarter, end of a third quarter, that shot at the end of the quarter is never really a great look. And you don't want to do that per possession either, especially at this stage of the game.
So Kuban with the timeout will advance the ball into their quarter court. Darussafaka.
I wonder here if they'll foul quickly or they'll play straight up defense.
One foul to give for Darussafaka.
Oh, they're in zone.
Strange decision to come out in 2-3 zone as you see it. It looks like it's very strange.
Looks
Ragland in no hurry. Happy to see the clock expire. Collins now gonna go to work. Step back shot from the elbow, short. And Kulagin with the offensive rebound and the putback. Well, Joe, that very well may be the basket that's gonna win it here for Kuban.
Boy, what is saying right there, because I'm not mistaken, that was Cummings down there with him. He's had such a great second half, but that was a difficult play because they were bodying each other up, and that ball looked like it was gonna hit the rim a little bit harder than it did. Came straight down into Kulagin's hands.
I'm going to go in dangerous territory here because I'm still shaking my head. Now, David Blatt's an outstanding coach, as you and I were talking, but he sends his team out to play a 2-3 zone, which is so strange.
Yeah, well, I lost concentration there, but it looked like they went man-to-man after that first pass. They were waiting for that first pass to come in. But again, I'm with you on the strange part of it because of the fact that you have a foul to give so far, and the time is your enemy.
Absolutely.
You're down. He was down 3 at that point. So time is his enemy. And what he's doing by going into his zone is letting him hold the ball and not make any passes, so there's no chance of a turnover in that possession.
And Ragland did just that. He watched the seconds go off the clock. Let's turn our attention now to Blatt. What's he sending his team out here to do, chasing 5 points?
Well, I think you got to get to the basket as hard as you can and maybe see if you can kick it out for a 3. If not, you get the quick 2. But now, again, they didn't foul before, so the next foul that they have doesn't put Lokomotiv onto the line, so that's more time that they're going to take off the clock.
Right now, Darussafaka, are they going out for a 3 or a 2, Joe, or they just want to get the easiest basket you can get?
Yeah, I think you want to score as quick as you can, and that comes off of penetration. If you penetrate and get out to the 3 and get yourself within 2, you're in a much better position to commit that next foul. But again, if it was me, I would have fouled right away on that last possession. As soon as they got the ball, I would have went for the steal, I would have went to double team, and if we didn't get it, we get a foul right away and get them back out in an out-of-bounds situation.
Well, Darussafaka now with the possession. Sant-Roos to bring it in, and you can see Lokomotiv Kuban don't pressure the ball out of bounds. They're going to double team Wilbekin. Wilbekin drives in the lane and can't convert. Offensive rebound, kicked out to Kidd. Sant-Roos goes to the rack and lays it up and in. And Obradovic now will take a timeout, and he'll advance the ball into his quarter court. And I'm going back over to you here again, Joe. Darussafaka this time, what are they going to do defensively?
Well, there's no doubt you're going to go for the steal right off the bat.
See this drive here by Sant-Roos, who lays it up and in.
Nice move there, and the timeout by Loco will move them the ball up in the forecourt. So what Darussafaka is going to have to do is try to push the ball maybe to the corner and see if they can get a trap in the corner and get a steal. If not, they have to foul right away, but they have 2 possessions to do that now because they didn't foul the last time.
Yeah, they have 1 foul to give. Just to remind the viewers that teams go to the free throw line on the 5th team foul, and right now Darussafaka with just 3, and it just magnifies that previous possession. You know, just not a great defensive exchange for Darussafaka.
Yes, it was was 13 seconds.
Yeah.
It's pretty much between 11 and 13 seconds that I felt like Darussafaka lost in that possession. I understand the zone to change the tempo, the change. Maybe you're thinking that Coach Obradovic set up a play for man-to-man and you come out in zone, but you come out in zone and you go right back into man-to-man as soon as you can. They look like they waited for that first pass, but give Ragland all the credit in the world.
Yeah.
He just held on to that ball. I don't know if he was thinking that they were going to go man-to-man. Maybe he was just as confused as we were. He didn't know what to do with the ball. He's like, Coach, call another timeout. They're in zone. You didn't tell us what to do.
Yeah, well, he wisely did nothing, and it worked out great.
Sometimes doing nothing is the best bet.
Okay, now, so Lokomotiv Kuban.
You got to try to force the ball to the corner.
Right? So Lokomotiv Kuban do not need to shoot.
No.
A steal straight away. Sant-Roos gives the Wilbekin. The three will tie it up. Oh, it's Scottie Wilbekin ties it up for Darussafaka. Collins, this will win it if it goes. It's off the heel of the rim. I cannot believe it. We're going to overtime. Oh my God, partner, you called it. You called it about 10 minutes ago. The overtime looms. But who would have thought it? An unlikely finish. Kuban have got this game on ice. It's over, Joe. It's over.
I have never seen a play like that in my life.
Look at the Kuban fans. They're disconsolate. Of course they are.
Imagine what the bench is like right now. What they must be thinking. It was Kulagin taking the ball out of bounds, wasn't it?
It was. What a great steal, first of all, by Sant-Roos, right? Great steal. He moves it on to Wilbekin. That doesn't take intelligence. Give it to your best player. But Wilbekin steps up and he nails the three.
Yeah, but I think Sant-Roos made a great decision because a lot of times in that thing, you want to hurry up and get your you want to hurry up and get your points. He was wide open. He gave that ball up, and partner, we're working 5 more minutes.
My goodness.
5 more minutes of game time. Hey, someone put my fish and chips in the microwave, will you?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. 21 points for Scottie Wilbekin. He's made 5 for 11 threes, none bigger. And look at the fans for Lokomotiv Kuban. Well, let's just talk about the momentum swing now, Joe. So Darussafaka went into the bench thinking, hey, this is our game now. And Lokomotiv Kuban have got to lift themselves off the floor.
Yeah, you know, I look at this in 2 different ways. I've always said, been one of my philosophies, when you work your way back in the game, a lot of times you get there and you get deflated a little bit because you're okay, we've done it, we've got there, now let's just play. And you get rid of that urgency, that sense of urgency you have to play with, and you start to play a normal game again, as we're seeing all these incredible highlights for this game. But when it happens at the end of a game and in a situation it does, you're absolutely right, Liam. I mean, Lokomotiv has to feel deflated by what they had. They had this game in their hands. They had the situation perfectly. Darussafaka, and I'm sitting here telling you how much a poor decision of not making that 4th foul in the other possession, and it worked out perfectly
for
him.
It serves us right?
Yeah,
we're questioning Coach Blatt, right? That serves us both.
That's why I have headphones and makeup on.
That's why you and I are in the booth, and Blatt's making the big money, and that's why Coach Obradovic has lost all of his hair right there because of moments like that.
And I thought it was because of a daughter or something.
Oh,
you
my
know?
heavens.
Mine just turns gray.
First possession to Darussafaka. Old expression in basketball, the team that scores first in overtime often goes on to win it. Cummings steps back for the three. That's off the mark.
Did he go glass again? Was he going glass?
He certainly touched the glass.
Not a smart move right there by Cummings. He's got to keep getting to the basket like he did the whole 4th quarter.
Can Kuban show some character now and lift themselves off the floor? This man here has been outstanding all night. Collins gets in the lane, little up fake, and great steal by Cummings. Can Cummings convert in transition? He can! Cummings with the steal, scoop and score!
Spectacular defense by Cummings and finishing it on the fast break against 2 players.
This game has come to life. You know, it was a closely caught contest throughout, defensive encounter through 3.5 quarters, and it's come to life. Can Kuban respond now? Kulagin showing some skills. He lost it. It's Cummings again with a steal. He'll give it up, and the lay-in at 1! Oh, Darussafaka are in touching distance here of getting out of Kuban with a win.
Will Cummings is a superstar tonight. Absolutely amazing game. All over the place, offensively, defensively, penetrating the basket. I feel bad that I said he took a bad shot in that first possession of overtime, but what a spectacular game this young man is playing.
Third steal, third assist for Cummings. He's got 8 rebounds, 17 points. And he's been keeping his team in this. Free throw off the mark by Kidd, who has 9. And this is a big possession now for Kuban. They've got to get something coming out of this possession.
Yeah, that's 8 missed free throws for Darussafaka that could then hurt them later on in this game and the end of this overtime.
Elgar wants it in the low post, gets it. He's gonna go to work. Hard-nosed basket by Elgar. Can't get any assistance from the rim. And Lacey keeps it alive for Kuban.
He might have got away with a travel there off that
I thought he
bounce.
did as well, yeah.
But he still made a strong move with that left hand.
Inline ball here for Kuban.
9 fouls, so 14 for 23. Darussafaka from the line. So again, on the road, you have to make foul shots.
Kuban, by contrast, have been outstanding from the line, 9 for 10. That shot from Collins just a little bit short. Maybe some tired legs there from the veteran.
Textbook boxing out again. We see 3 guys boxing out and the ball hit the ground. Nobody has to jump for a rebound.
Certainly Coach Blatt would have talked about their deficiency on the backboard after the first half. Here's Wilbekin now. Wilbekin lets fly with a 3, the high arching shot. Hits the heel of the rim. I think it's last touched by Johnson. No, it's a Kuban hand that touched it last.
Looked to me like Johnson might have touched that too, but he had 3 players on him.
The referee's in a good position. He seems confident. That young lady looks worried as well. She should be.
She still got that look on her face from the Wilbekin 3 at the end of regulation.
Unbelievable. We haven't had time to see that again. Hopefully the guys in the truck will get that highlight to us again. It's certainly the play of the game. Wilbekin, and that's off the mark.
Yeah,
so having made a 3 to tie it up and send it to overtime, he's missed his last 2.
Yeah, he's gotten away from getting to the basket and finding other players here in the second half. It's been Cummings' job to do that, but he needs to do that if he gets the chance. You know that they're going to push up on him. You know they're going to want to defend his 3. Let him get to he's got to get to the basket and maybe find some of his bigs like he did earlier in the game.
Kidd with the fouls. He steps out in the screen and commits the foul against Ragland.
Yeah, the further this game goes on, you like the youth of Darussafaka. Only averaged 25 years per player and median per team. But Lokomotiv's 28 almost.
Foul here. Cummings thought he played some pretty good defense. It's the 15th foul against Darussafaka, so Bab will go to the line, and this is a big trip to the line here for Kuban. They've struggled to score in the overtime, Joe, and their first chance to tack on some points.
And Wilbekin going to the bench to get another little breather here. Interesting move again here by Blatt. I think he's actually taken him out of the game because he's taken the offensive rhythm away from the team. The team was playing so well offensively with great continuity. And the last 2 possessions, Wilbekin's jacked up a couple 3s, illicit 3s, I think. There's another missed free throw that makes so much of a difference here late in the game. They've been great from the free throw line until now, 9 for 10, but.
Yeah, just the first miss for Bab. He's 3 for 4 from the line. Can he atone for that error? He does. So 4 for 5 from the line for Bab. He has 10 points.
It's interesting when you're in the coaching staffs, the last 3 minutes of that 4th quarter, so much strategy going in every game. Then all of a sudden, bam, you got 5 more minutes thrown at you. You got to come back. You got to come back with some more stuff. Let's see if Blatt goes back to his zone with 11 seconds left.
Well, Cummings now picks up his dribble early. Sant-Roos, he's looking for a seam to get to the basket. Try and break down Bab now.
They're going to give up the shot.
Great drive by Sant-Roos, can't finish. And a long rebound into the hands of Darussafaka, and Cummings slows things down.
It is spacing now by Darussafaka. That's all they're concerned about, is opening up the floor as much as they can.
Cummings, scoop and score! Cummings takes Collins to school and lays it up and in.
Cummings says, keep it coming, baby. It's all me tonight. There's no doubt about it. Will Cummings is the man for Darussafaka.
19 points for Cummings. Kulagin swallowed up by Johnson. Another great defensive stance by Johnson. And Cummings Gets it across half court for the visitors.
Big possession here for the Turks.
It's the largest lead Darussafaka have enjoyed. 5 points, chance to extend it. And Collins now wants to try and break down Kulagin. Spots up, no good.
I was about to jump off my seat
right there with you. I was right there with you. Just keep those elbows down when you go up. Speaking of going up, the alley-oop, and it drops! Collins to Elegar, he throws it up and says to Elegar, go get it, big fella! And he lays it up and in.
You know, there's no doubt that David Blatt has said from all week, we will not give up the alley-oop, we will not give up that alley-oop dunk. And they did a great job of doing it.
Joe, look at the players, look at the basketball players. You know, as soon as they go down and they hold those shorts, they are tired.
Oh yeah, this is intense, but this is a final. This isn't a regular season game. And one of the issues right there defensively, not getting your hands up on Collins. Another missed free throw there by Elegar.
Line drive shot by Elegar, wouldn't find the bottom. And Wilbekin steps back in for Darussafaka. Some fresh instructions in his ears.
Role reversal here in overtime.
Who's going to keep their nerve? Who's going to win this first game of 3? Just the second time in history that this championship has been decided by a 3-game series. Elegar with the foul.
That's not the guy you want to get to the line right now, Scottie Wilbekin. Did a good job of holding him off in that first pick and roll and chased him out maybe a little bit too far and got his knee out on him. Definitely a good call there by the referee. Wilbekin go to the line for 2.
Yeah, Wilbekin shot 82% from the free throw line this year. Right now, Joe, it's a 1-possession game. These free throws will make it a 2-possession game, so big advantage. And I've just cursed him again.
You still have the possibility to make it a 2-possession game.
Yeah, he's got one more chance here.
Unless we get real technical and we talk about 1 possession with a 3 and a foul.
Well, he rattles the second one in, does Wilbekin. 4 points of difference.
You don't realize, a lot of people don't realize, that's a huge miss by Wilbekin, though, because right now that gives Darussafaka more options offensively. Get to the basket quick. Get the ball, they can still get the basket and kick it out for the 3-pointer, and they have a lot of time to get fouls and get Darussafaka to the line. Now David Blatt's got to be concerned about 2 things: getting his best defensive 5 on the floor, but making sure he has some foul shooters out there too. You don't want to put guys that aren't good foul shooters. He's got a few of them out there. You got Johnson at 77%. Michael Eric, you don't want anywhere near the floor right now.
Right.
Because you need him defensively though, but you don't want him out there as he's under 40% in the season. So it's a tough situation here because you have to put your defensive players out on the floor. Also, you have to think that Obradovic is probably going to come out with a small lineup. So that gives Blatt a little bit of an advantage. It doesn't have to get Eric into the game. You kind of look at the lineup and then you throw out your personnel.
Remember, of course, now the clock will stop after scores here, so coaches can do offensive, defensive substitutions to talk about those exact things you're alluding to. That's the basket right there from Kulagin. I thought was going to win it for Kuban, and then here's the steal from Sant-Roos, and then he moves it on to Wilbekin, who catches it. Exactly you're talking about, Joe. He's facing the basket, doesn't have to pivot, just in flow, and he knocks it down.
I have to see that replay again because I want to see if Wilbekin actually said something to him. I have to assume that he's like, give it up, big man, give it up. I mean, we saw Sant-Roos earlier in the game dribble to the sideline. Remember, he looked like he wanted nothing to do with the ball.
With that ball. Well, Kuban here, they need a quick basket, or 2 or 3. And Darussafaka showing zone again.
Well, they don't care now. Now the time's on. Now the clock's at their friend. But now they're going to go right to man-to-man.
Ragland lays it. Oh, what a block! Great block by Johnson, and that might seal it for Darussafaka. Wilbekin waiting for the foul, moves it on. Kuban have got to foul.
You have to foul now. What is
this? Kulagin's not fouling.
Or trap, at least trap.
Oh, they get a turnover. Kulagin across the midcourt stripe. Babb pulls the trigger. Nothing but nylon for Chris Babb. With 8.6 seconds left, just 1 point as Coach Blatt takes a timeout, and the chess game continues between the 2 coaches.
I'll tell you what, this wasn't a commentator's dream game for the first 3 quarters, but man,
it's come alive. And what do we know? And we're talking about Kulagin. We're telling Kulagin, you got to foul, and he gets a turnover.
But they didn't even trap. You would think that, I think that's a great play because you have a player in a position where he can only pass the ball back. So you send somebody else to trap if you can, and he still gets the turnover. Absolutely. I've seen a couple plays that I've never seen before. You've seen them before, but in this situation, you think to yourself, like, how can you make that mistake? Even at that situation, you eat the ball.
Yeah.
If the last thing you do is you just hold on to it, take the 24-second shot violation, and you go back and you set up your defense, and you don't give them that easy three, that's your worst-case scenario, but you definitely don't want to make that errant pass.
It's amazing, you know, Joe, it was just the, I'm looking at Darussafaka, just the 7th turnover against Darussafaka. And for Lokomotiv Kuban, just 9 turnovers. You know, it's been
what a clean game.
What a great game by both teams.
And that's when you're looking at 2 of the best defenses in the league. That can convert scores on turnovers, and they force other teams into turning the ball over. So it's been a well-played game.
Absolutely. Befitting a final. These 2 teams have been closely matched. People have said that they're the 2 best teams in the competition. And they've gone toe-to-toe here.
You can't ask for a better game.
No, absolutely
than the
not.
2 best teams in the league in the final. There's no doubt about it.
8.6 seconds left. Darussafaka with the possession. And we're both expecting a foul here. But who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, unless they get it into the corner, and you can trap for a minute. Right there if you want to trap. Now you go right to it. Wilbekin's already missed 1, so put him back to the line. But this is where he goes to the line and he thinks to himself, I'm the MVP. I'm making the money here.
Yeah.
I have to drill 2 foul shots here.
Well, let's just talk through this, Joe. So Wilbekin steps to the line, 82% free throw shooter, game on the line here. You would expect him to make both. That goes Darussafaka now are up 3. If Obradovic has a timeout, he'll advance it. And we'll talk about what happens next.
I knew you were coming at me with this one.
Wilbekin makes the first.
I'm a firm believer, Liam, that if it's under 7 seconds,
you defend.
You foul.
Oh, you foul. Okay.
You foul.
Okay.
If it's more than that, you have to defend a little bit because you don't want to get into a foul shot game with 12, 14, 15, 16 seconds. But right now, I think you're up 3. You don't let them get that 3-point shot off, right? Especially they're taking the ball out of bounds.
Yeah, out of timeouts. So Kulagin now need a 3 to tie it. Kulagin got up his foot, leans in, off the mark. Well, double overtime's not going to happen in game 1 in the hands of the visitors. Darussafaka come here to Russia as the 2 coaches shake hands at midcourt. It's been an outstanding game of basketball, very much befitting a final, and that ever important first game goes to the side of the visitors, Joe, who are in a strong position now to go back to Istanbul on Friday and seal this series.
That's exactly what we talked about earlier. The winner of this game, if it's Darussafaka, does not want to see this city again. They do not want. They don't want to worry about Russian visas, stamps, passports. They don't want to worry about anything. They want to finish this thing off in Volkswagen Arena back home.
Well, Krasnodar, loosely translated into English, means the red gift. It's been a gift here for Darussafaka to come out of town with a win. The green team of Darussafaka get the ever-important first win in this 3-game series. There's your final score at the end of this one. Darussafaka Istanbul 81, Lokomotiv Kuban Krasnodar 78 in game 1 of the EuroCup Finals.